It's you, this Jim says, like, which one?
Yeah, I know.
Which one? Oh, look, it's you.
Ooh. All right, we are live, but we are still in test mode.
You kidding? No, are you kidding me? It's a
What did
tablet.
Batman do?
Come on.
No, it's a tablet. It's not Rick and Morty. No, truth be told, though, I'm having fun.
Thanks, man.
Ooh. Why am I not getting anything?
We are live. You want me to, you know what? You want to mute the mics from your side? Can you do that?
Why?
Just so we have no audio going out?
Well, I want to hear it. That's the
Oh,
thing.
we're doing the audio test. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't hear ourselves yet.
Do we see meters? Do we need the main mix out?
No, I don't think so, because I'm seeing audio here. See? 1, 2. Hey, 1, 2. 1, 2, 2, 1, 2.
Here comes our
Mr. No.
standby, not at home. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Why am I not hearing you? Why am I not hearing audio? This could be a
How
problem.
about this? Are you hearing audio now?
No, I'm not. What is going on? Slight problem here.
We did this the first year. We went audio out of one and video out of another.
No, it should be just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Are you muted for some reason?
I am.
Am I
I'm
muted?
supposed to be.
Yeah, you're supposed to be. I'm not muted. Check 1, 2. Oh, wait a minute. That could be me.
Hey, Laney's here.
What? Where?
I don't know, but I just got messaged.
Check 1, 2. Can you go to YouTube, see if it's there? Because I'm not hearing anything. I'm seeing deflection in the meters, but I'm not hearing anything here.
A little bounce. But this is how we make the sauce. And this is what the...
Oh no, watching sausage being made is not a pleasant experience.
Not every time.
Check 1, 2.
Yeah.
Check.
Yeah, we're there.
Why can't I hear it? All right.
Because you are plugged into there when you should be coming into my mixer?
No, because I'm on YouTube. Maybe it's just, no, but it doesn't default to that.
It's where your speaker settings are.
Yeah, no, I did that. Why am I hearing feedback?
Because I'm playing back. That's why you're hearing feedback. You're picking up my audio.
Can you mute your audio out? Oh, there.
Okay.
Should be good.
Yeah, as long as you're hearing it on the YouTube page, then I'm
That's
fine.
all that matters.
Okay, I'll figure that out later. All right, it is 2:59. We're gonna do this on a 3 o'clock straight.
Let me get who's up first up on the.
First up is going to be Brian.
Yeah.
I'll go get him.
So, are we going to do an edit point at some point?
Yeah. Who's Jason?
Hey. Sure, man. Yeah. Yeah. It depends. I think we typically go to ID1. That could be. You're in 175, right?
I can't remember Ryan anymore.
He'll be back in a minute. He's right there. Don't worry. He just walked out the door.
Hey, no problem.
So it's 3 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock. Let's do this.
Okay.
I need you to keep an check on the audio. Do you have a pair of headphones?
They're right there.
Can you plug them into there so you can hear? Make sure on. Oh, you can't.
Why couldn't I?
Because I want to hear it off the YouTube because you don't have. Oh, it's got the adapter. Okay.
No, it's a.
Yeah, no, it's got the converter.
These are obnoxious.
No, I just need an audio check occasionally. Unless you want to wear a pair of these, but they've been in my ears.
You just need an occasional check, and then we'll check.
Yeah, just an occasional spot check. Showing 0 viewers, right? 1 viewer. All right, you got your Twitter. You want to do it now and tell them it's live with the link? 2 viewers. Hello, folks. Just give us 1 second. We're losing.
Yeah, we're good.
We're stuttering. I don't like that we're stuttering. What can we do? All right, you want to tweet? Can you do me a favor? I appreciate it. Okay. And then we'll officially start.
I always red wine.
All right. What you can do is tell Brian that it's 3 o'clock when he's ready to come on by.
Sure.
Thank you. And we'll go from there, all right?
So I have another guy who is
Tweeted it? It's odd doing this without headphones. I can do it with just headphones.
What's that?
It's always odd to do it without headphones because we're always listening. All right.
And it's a delay, so I can't have that on. It'll drive me nuts.
Oh, no, I understand. Sort of like doing national anthem, as they say.
Oh,
All right.
He'll be over in 2 minutes.
All right, so let's do our chit chat. You ready?
Sure.
why don't you do an intro,
I will
and
do
we'll
it.
do a 10-second. You start your intro, and we'll go that way.
That would be good, right? I like that idea. I like him a lot. I do.
Oh, boy.
You wouldn't
This-
know it.
The student teaching the master. Look at this one.
Oh. Have you caught flies with chopsticks yet?
No.
Oh, you must study first longer, grasshopper.
Dude, I am still a grasshopper in this one.
Oh, boy. All right. And 3, 2. And welcome to another edition of AVNation live from the Crestron Design Center. We are here for the Sapphire Marketing Party. This is our 3rd year in a row being here, and it's always a good time. But why are we here? Well, Neto, why are we here?
Because we have nothing else better to do on a Thursday.
Well, this is true. This is true. But don't tell my kids that. They think
Why
this
are
is
we
exciting.
here? This is
Yeah.
the place to be in December in New York City. I mean, I say it and I say it jokingly, but man, this is a happening party. There's a lot more going on that unfortunately our cameras can't pick up because of the place is divided up into.
We would need a super panoramic or a
Absolutely.
in the field camera
Yeah.
to describe
But,
it all.
Well, but so let's talk about that because
Yeah.
here is the place where a lot of very high alum of the AV integration world are coming.
the Illuminati.
Illuminati.
The
Yes,
Illuminati.
yes, the Illuminati. But as Lainey said, there were 400 invited. Almost all of them said yes. We'll see what happens. But these are the people who are coming, and they're coming to talk here, not just party, but to talk to each other, which means we're talking a lot about the business, trends, and what's going on. That's why this kind of event is a very important thing for us to be here, but for others to come as well.
It's a good place to get the common knowledge, to get the idea of how to gauge what's going on in the industry.
And there's
I mean,
there's
you-
also a lot of cross pollination that goes on with these things. Folks
Absolutely.
talk about, well, we worked on this product and we had this issue. What did you do to combat it? That kind of thing. There's some stories to be told.
Not only is there stories to be told, but we're at Crestron. I mean, they are one of the big companies in our industry.
Yeah.
And if anybody's going to have a pulse on what's going on in this industry, it should be coming through this company.
Yeah, and we have some guests that we hope will illuminate us on some of that stuff. Brian Shelley from the Design Center will be here. Marla, of course. Laney, we have a countdown clock and the over-under on cursing, so it's +2 right now. Place your bets, ladies. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. And we have a few others who will come, especially people like Jeff Singer, who will give us sort of an outlook of why they made what they made in 2015 and where they're going. A lot of interesting thing there. A lot of, not to give it away, but sort of centric on not what we used to be, who used to do it, and now who's really doing it, and they're pushing that way.
Yep.
It'd be something great to talk to him.
And this is one of my favorite podcasts of the year because we are no more than 2 feet away from the bar, as you can see by the little bottle of wine on the other side there. We have great access not only to great content but to libations. And
yes,
it's one of the few times that we can do this and do it with a smile.
We are literally within arm's reach.
I'm feeling warm and fuzzy already.
It can be warm because it is freaking 50 degrees outside. It's very unseasonal for here for New York at this time of year.
And tomorrow is supposed to be 63. 63.
I want to stop cutting my grass.
It's sort of like the Bing Crosby Christmas where he's with the palm trees. Not the white Christmas one, but he's,
No,
it's a Bob Hope special.
Maki?
Yeah.
Don Ho.
There you
Break
go.
out the ukulele.
The ukulele?
Now, see,
Oh,
only
no.
we had known. We would have brought the ukuleles.
The flowered shirts and the lace.
Yes, I would have
All right.
done that. Absolutely.
Well, there was some folks outside, I think, who did look like Tiny Tim, but that's a separate story.
It's gone bad already. It's already
So
gone
now
bad.
we have one of our first guests coming on as he makes his way. Oh no, actually no.
Oh, no,
first.
it's a different guest.
Uh-oh.
No.
Oh, no. All right.
Yeah, she doesn't want to be blamed for anything yet.
She's not she's not primed and ready to come on stage.
Yes, we're still taking bets on the over-under, so that has to wait. Gotta let the bets come in. Let the bets come in. But something we were talking about though is that the last 2 years we were here, the first year we were here was deep into the just beginnings of the recession coming out. We weren't sure. We didn't know what was going on. We had hope. The next year was, of course, hey, things are looking brighter. This year we talked to everybody. It's gangbusters.
So
I don't know from you guys. I work in the live staging world. It is gangbusters, even on what we're doing in broadcast installs. I know that you said you've been insanely busy. Like things are just going left and right. And Bill here as well was saying that when he is working on upgrades in the school.
Oh, yeah.
Like everybody is spending the money.
This is the crazy time of year.
Yeah.
You get us at this time of year for corporate. It's the last minute spend.
Yep.
Every year it's being told, yeah, we're not going to do it, but there's always that final rush, that push to get in product.
2 years ago they went, no, we're not doing it. Right? 2 years ago they were saying, no, we can't.
They held back. Not now.
The last year, it's kind of trickled. This year, I think the floodgates are open.
You want to know what my theory is? 5 years of disregard.
Okay.
We don't need it
Explain
this
that.
year.
Explain
We don't
that.
need it this year. Okay, granted, we're at a Crestron event, but one of the things that'll get outdated very quickly is going to be video conferencing, right? So with the video conferencing units, these things are running on old software. The hardware is improved. Not only has the software upgraded, it's time to move to the next level.
Right.
So, yeah, you got to do that refresh. The hybrid analog HD systems from 5 years ago are now full HD.
Right.
And not just talking 4K, but coming with the anticipation of 4K. We've hit that point where you can't just sit on that stuff anymore.
Right. No, it's
So-
true. Yeah, you're sort of at that
Sir.
point.
Hey, gentlemen.
How's everything?
Good to
So,
see you.
for joining us, of
Welcome
course, is
back.
Brian Shelley. He is the manager of the New York showroom here. This is the Crestron Design Center. Showroom? I keep doing it. Every year I get it wrong.
We're gonna ban him.
We're going to edit that. The Crestron Design Showroom. In that, though, people often confuse this with the Experience Center. So to start off, give me an idea. What is the difference between the two?
So the design showroom, we have in the U.S., we have 3 locations that are currently open. One that will be opening in Fort Lauderdale within the next 2 to 3 months. We're knocking on the door there. That's going to be in the Dakota building in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
We also have one in Chelsea Harbor in England, design showroom.
That's
So
a
we've
very
got
nice area, yeah.
we've got a couple of locations. The design showroom typically is either in a building, like it is here, and in the other locations where interior designers, architects, builders frequent. Sometimes just for their own research and informational purposes, and other times to bring their clients so that they can show them fabrics and furniture and lighting fixtures.
Yeah,
And
well,
so we're in the same building where those decisions are being reviewed, because this can tie into a lot of that.
right. Tell me a little bit more about the building.
Sure.
You mentioned briefly, but for those who are not New York centric or haven't dealt with it, this building is the design,
The decoration and design building.
and it houses what?
18 floors of over 100 showrooms that literally can vary from what I was mentioning before, simple fabrics to furniture, to rugs, to wall coverings. They don't say wallpaper. And lighting
It's also window
fixtures.
treatments. It's not.
Yes,
Yeah.
right, exactly. So it runs the gamut of what's in the building.
Right. So they could spend. You could do a field trip for a week here, and
A lot of people do.
Yeah.
There's probably 5 or 6 stops that the designer will make while they bring a client to the building, and we're just trying to be one of those stops.
And in that stop, what is it that you guys are looking to help with now? So they're here. What's the purpose of just? It's pretty, but there's a bigger purpose here.
Of course, I say there's different types of clients. There are ones that have never heard of Crestron. There are ones that have heard of us but only know a little bit of what we do, and then there are ones that have Crestron. And so it's either educational, so we're educating them on home automation or smart home technology. We're updating them and informing them if they had a little bit of knowledge of Crestron as to what our full scope is. And then for the ones that have Crestron, we are giving them the opportunity to see the new, the latest and the greatest. And I've been using the delineation of an iPad time frame as when someone comes in and they say, oh, I'm used to Crestron, or I have Crestron, or I've seen Crestron. I use the iPad as, when the iPad came out, is it pre the iPad or post the iPad? And it's really amazing. A lot of people, I've asked them, I said, how long ago do you think the iPad came out? They say 10 years or 8 years. When I tell them it's 5, April will be going on 6.
Right,
but they can't believe it because they feel like it's been around forever. So when they're saying they have an 8-year-old Crestron system or a 10-year-old Crestron system, and they're comparing it to the iPad that they believe is that old, yes, I can understand why they think it's that way. So, but it's a whole new dynamic. And I use 2 phrases. I say we either have digital natives or digital immigrants that come in. People that grew up with the technology or are growing up with it, or the concept of living with technology. And then you have the people that migrated into it and it became part of their life as they just lived. So.
You know what, George? You brought up a point. You called it the experience center versus the design center. But there's an experience here. You're coming in not just to design a system, but you have the toys.
Yep.
You can kick the tires in here too, which is similar to what they have in Rockley.
Yep.
And I've been to Rockley, and Rockley is the experience center with
Right.
your
We're the design showroom.
and you're the design showroom.
Right.
But do not take that and think that you're not going to get an experience in here, because you are definitely going to be playing with some equipment.
That's a great point, actually, Chris. Under the area of our website, it's Experience Crestron, and the center and the showroom options are both under the Experience Crestron field. So you're absolutely right. It's all about the experience. It's very hard to communicate this. And so, I was chatting a little bit earlier with some of the folks here. They said, well, how long have you been here now? So we've been in the design showroom here in New York. October was our 4th year. What does that mean? We've had over 10,000 people through here.
10,000
in the 4 years.
That's a small city.
So, and we're talking about everything from the homeowner to an integrator to an architect or a builder or an interior designer. And so it's full gamut, runs the spectrum. But the thing that happens here is that experience. They come through here. For our dealers and our integrators out there, for the ones who have been here before, I'm going to say something they definitely can attest to. For the ones who haven't come yet, you're going to want to when you hear this. Every project that comes through here grows in scope after the visit. And it's because that person was being told, so here's the processor, it's a CP3N. And they're like, isn't that a Star Wars character? Like, what is that? They see all these codes and they don't know what that means.
Right.
But meanwhile, when you bring them here, they're not touching the CP3. They're not touching a DM video matrix. They're touching a touchscreen or an iPad, or maybe a keypad or a switch on a wall. And so for them to come through and now they start to do their, okay, in my house, this is what I do now. Or, oh, this is so much easier. And now I understand it. It's hard to verbalize what this means. And the person's crossing stuff off on the proposal. Then they come here. Not only are they adding the things back, but they add additional line items. So it's really helping the integrators not only close the deal, but grow the deal.
One of the things that we've talked about on AV Week, and you brought up a point, and it triggered something in my head to go this way. But we live in a world right now where all the technology is being purchased and bought online. But yet the trends that we're starting to see in the commercial, the residential, and even on the consumer side, it's great that you can see it online, but the real purchase, the real investment in things are going to the experience centers, whether it is a Crestron experience center or some of these, home improvement places that have taken it from just being, boxed faucets on the wall to, hey, go try out our faucet. It is working. This concept in retail, not necessarily retail, but this is where it has to happen. This is your test drive
This
center.
is something where, like, say, a brick and mortar place does kind of tend to have more like rubber meets the road. It's very nice in which you can say, well, here, you can put it on your phone and control it this way. Well, when you actually see it and say, here, I can actually go and like lock my door and control all this, you can actually see it in real time. You go and suddenly everyone makes a connection. It goes, oh, there is just more to it than just a touch panel. I can have complete control of my home.
But I've often said that it probably humanizes the machinery.
That too.
Right? I mean, like you said, there's a list of products and it's these black boxes, and most of them don't even show. Like, you have them behind glass here, but nowadays they're all down in the basement or an equipment room. No one's showing them off. They want it seamless, right?
Exactly.
The whole Apple design effect, right? But yes, it humanizes. This is what it does. This is why it's here.
And how it will
I don't
work
want
in
this
your
thing.
world.
Yes, exactly. And I like it, but it humanizes.
Right.
You touched it, it interfaces with you. You bonded with it, sort of like a puppy, I guess. But you bonded with it.
Well, and it's
And
true.
you
Digital puppies. It's awesome.
I will
Love it.
call you Fluffy,
Trademark
and you
it.
will be my touchscreen. Don't do the Chris Farley do it. Pet it and stroke it.
Call you mine. That's awesome. Somebody go get me a coffee table. I'll go through it.
Nice. Well, the other thing too
God.
is the
Make it
experience
blush.
center question that you brought up earlier. This is very much set up like a home.
Yeah.
There's a living room, there's a kitchen, there's a master bedroom, and so when someone's walking through, they have one of those in their house.
Yeah.
So that aspect of it. Now, the experience center in New Jersey, I don't have a living room. I have a theater, a really cool theater, but
Yeah.
I don't have a living room. I don't have, what a normal kitchen would be like in a home or a bedroom. And so that's the opportunity for the experience centers, more of that commercial, that corporate environment. And the Wizard of Oz, the men behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Here it's, okay, here's everything you're going to be interacting with. Not every homeowner cares about the wizard.
Yeah.
They don't need to see him. They believe in him and they know he exists because stuff happens. But there are others that have that itch, that desire, and they want it.
We've also stepped away from wanting to see the gear as an ostentatious show of what my high-tech hobby or habit is.
Mhm.
Right? You and I were talking earlier about, what did you add to the showroom?
Yep.
And one of the ones were these panels that you can't see on camera, but they actually match the decor or the pattern in the background very closely so that they almost disappear in the background. I mean, the ones with almost no bezel, oh my God,
Yeah.
like, you would not know they were there.
And it's about complementing. Interior designers and architects are coming through here. Aesthetics matter to them. Decluttering the walls matters to them. But at the same time, it's got to blend in with their design.
Right.
And so if we can show them we're on the same team, it's no longer butt crack AV dude
Yeah.
hanging TVs on the wall. We have people that actually are coming in and putting booties over their shoes so they don't dirty up the $30,000 rug.
Yeah.
And sit on your $40,000 sofa, with denim jeans that's going to rub off on it. It's a collaborative effort. We don't want to step on the interior designers' toes. We want to respect their artistry, but at the same time, they can't deny the homeowners are looking for this now. Every homeowner that walks in here has got a smart device of some sort. And so they're living with the technology. So do the designers. The people that were anti-technology have it as well.
Yeah, I mean, to that aesthetic part, I remember Mr. Feldstein always saying, the bumps on the wall, didn't want them. Like, to us, we were like, I was a hardcore AV guy. I'm like, bumps on the wall. It's kind of perfect. It's just, no. And it was right. That seamlessness is coming. That Apple aesthetic, that cleanliness is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that over time, since we started off this conversation with 5 years ago, what has changed?
Mm-hmm.
I think that an attention to detail to equipment that's being made has made significant improvements over 5 years. So if you go back 5 years ago to where the recession was hurting or limping, your touch panels, no disrespect, had still a fatter gauge to it. I mean, they had a fatter bezel, they were clunky, they were chunky. You've now gone super thin, ultra thin, and in some cases, big, small, compact. I mean, you're all over the place with it, and it's great because it's something. Finally, there are products that are disappearing into it, and like you said, it goes back to the interior designers, who I will still go on record and say that they absolutely think our technologies, regardless of how pretty we think they are,
Right.
they're ugly.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about something cold and electronic in their eyes.
No.
It's not warm like wood. It is what it is, but you know what, we've come a long way. Looking at the touchscreen display that you have in front of us, that's great. That will, I think that will appeal more to the interior designer than it does to the actual homeowner.
It softens it a lot.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say, Brian, didn't you guys just recently debut like a designer inspired series panel where it had a much more aesthetically pleasing backs and everything? Or?
So there's a couple of things. There's from the perspective of the new panel, the 1542. We showed it at CEDIA. That's the one where it can be custom painted.
Ah, okay.
And so that by its in of itself, you know,
Yeah,
you've got those aficionados that want their room to have a look, and so you're totally able to now achieve that.
You pick whatever
and
color of the
complement
rainbow
that.
you want.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you guys are doing the custom. How does that work?
So it's part of the ordering process. Actually, Orange County Choppers, it's part of that blend. They're actually the ones painting
Yes.
the back of the panel. So it's custom printed.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's pretty intense. So we got a couple of things. We got Pinpoint deployed here for from a residential standpoint. I navigate through the rooms with an iPad in tow, and it literally, the GUI updates to the new room I'm in without me having to take steps and navigate through my touchscreen or my wireless device to get to that room. I'm there already. Also, the technology of Ping, having the opportunity to discuss how in 1 year, it's over 300 products that Crestron makes that has the Ping technology communication capability. So we're still here for everyone that's been here. We're still here for them. For ones that haven't been here, come on down, come see me, and we'll make sure we take care of you and the client.
Absolutely. And if anybody who has seen our podcast for the last couple of years knows, Brian knows this place inside and out. This is his world.
My home away from home. You're
Before
right
we
about
let you
that.
go, because you have a lot of people to attend to.
No worries. I appreciate you
Give
guys.
us the address and URL that they can find out more information.
Yes.
Got it. 979 3rd Avenue. It's on the corner of 59th and 3rd. That's the D&D building, or the Decoration and Design building. And then crestron.com/showrooms.
Awesome.
And we're there.
Brian, thank you so
My
much.
pleasure,
again.
guys.
Good to
Always
see
a
you.
pleasure
Appreciate
seeing
it,
you.
man.
Thanks
Thank you.
again.
Have a safe
Appreciate
holiday.
your help. Thank you, too.
Thank you, sir.
Good seeing you.
Good seeing you.
All right.
So there we go. Now, 2 years in a row, continued changes, upgrades, everything going on here. It's
We'll go with that, yeah.
The progression that we obviously, between us as integrators and people, professionals that are using this stuff on a day-to-day, we love to see that. They're not stale.
No.
That's a
Well,
fear.
10,000 people since the start.
That's a town. That's a borough.
That's a town. That's a borough. It's not a borough, but it's close, man. That's a lot.
But hey, this one doesn't count, but we're jamming 400 in here today.
We hope, yeah.
Okay.
See who comes.
Plus the
How it is, but-
plus the viewers that we have at
Once
at home.
again, glad I'm not claustrophobic, but then again, we have refreshments right in front of us.
So
yes, exactly.
I'd like to just remind the viewers that are on that are watching us remotely. If you guys have questions, comments, concerns, anything you guys want to send in questions for us to ask, we will take it. We are monitoring our Twitter. If you can send it to #RedbandLive or send it directly to me. I have my Twitter going, and we can go ahead and answer what we can and say what we can. We'll even do shots on air later on if necessary.
We will.
Absolutely. We
Yes.
That
definitely-
wasn't in my contract. I'm going to tell you right now.
No, wait, that's in the rider.
That's a
dude.
rider?
That and no brown M&Ms.
Well, I want it all brown. Wait,
Wait, what? Oh, man.
that's why they're not
We
there.
have to go David Lee Roth.
We have 4 bowls.
I mean,
Google that.
I hope the
Google
rigging
that,
for
but
the
no,
I hope the
I can't
rigging
imagine
requirements
there's
are
no
set.
one- I can't imagine there's no one who doesn't know what that is, but the band Van Halen used to have in their rider, the contract rider for live concerts, a stipulation that no brown M&Ms were to be given in a big bowl. Now you would say, what do they have against brown M&Ms? Is there something
Yeah,
freaky
sure.
that? No.
Take,
The idea was that it
Yeah.
meant that somebody actually read the
That's
contract
okay.
and that they would be
See it.
aware of it, and then they knew everything else was taken care of. To that end, it became the thing of lore, but yeah,
The lore of David Lee Roth.
the lore of David Lee Roth.
So with us now, we have Nick Harris.
Sure.
Title is official.
Yeah.
VP of
VP of Marketing,
Head Cheese.
Head Cheese. I
Marketing.
think Global maybe in there, but I'm not
Nice.
sure.
Nice.
I'm not a, what do you call it, sort of imperial, I suppose, in my
Yeah.
outlook. But yeah, thanks for having us here.
Let's start this off by saying he is a newbie to our show.
Okay.
This is a first time on not only AVNation, but a first time at this event.
Does that mean he has to do the
So
bucket
we
challenge?
do.
Is this a hazing ritual?
We may have to haze you for a little bit.
It's called the unspeaking eye.
We're gonna play
gosh.
20 questions real quick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all right.
there we go.
Yeah.
Crunching
Animal, mineral, or vegetable, right?
Tell us. We were speaking with Brian. Brian has told us this place is doing phenomenal.
Yes.
In the time that you've been with Crestron, how is this? How is the design showroom fit into the Crestron new way of business?
It's an excellent question. I think for us, and I actually speak more from my own personal experience on Crestron is, even across the enterprise, is a very experiential brand.
Mhm.
It's like it kind of comes together when you come down to the showroom here and you kind of experience I suppose the word would be the gestalt of things happening together. And I think that's really what happens here. And it happens at our experience center as well. It's like when you bring customers, clients, you kind of go, aha, I think I kind of get what this is all about. It's sort of larger than the sum of all the technology.
You watch the spiderweb connect all the strands.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And, so I think, for this type of, for what we're doing here, I mean, this is very, I think, emblematic of how we want to surround people and immerse people in what Crestron does. It is integrated, it's orchestrated, and it's not just one thing, it's all those things together. And so this is a kind of a focal point for that. And so we want to do more of it. Our goal is to bring more people here, because once we think they get here, the shoe drops. And we have great people. You've talked to Brian, who are true ambassadors of the Crestron experience, and they do some hard lifting and some good converting for the brand. So it's been great.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry, in a little dead air because I was looking at George, thinking, George, what are you doing? George is sweating. It is.
I took off my jacket because it's just too hot.
It's getting a bit warm under these lights. Yeah.
Absolutely. We had to close the window because of street noise. We are definitely live. It is New York City, so if you hear something going by in the form of a fire truck or a siren,
If it gets too quiet, they actually pay a man to come by and roll the garbage can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has the thunder sheets that they use in theater. Yeah,
Yeah.
so they can do that with.
So my follow-up question now is, how is 2015? Now, granted, you've been with the company for
4 months, 5
4
months.
months.
Yeah.
What's your quick assessment? How are things going? And I know we're not allowed to talk about it, but where are we going in 2016?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a fair question. So how's it going? The wonderful thing about Crestron, it's a growing company. I mean, it's growing very, very fast. And, from where are we growing and areas we want to focus on, we certainly want to make sure on the residential side of things that we continue to drive that, to support that, kind of create the right associations around what Crestron's doing there. But I think a lot of effort on the enterprise and the commercial side of things. I think Brian talked a little bit about, pinpoint technology and how that ladders up into things like fusion and enterprise management and sort of, managing those things. So I think 2016 moving forward, you're going to see a lot more dimensions put on that from Crestron. We're going to be fairly vivid in what that's like and really, again, kind of similar to what we do on the residential side, show what the user experience is, in an enterprise where things work well, and then show how those things get managed through things like Fusion and cloud. So you're going to hear a lot more of that in 2016 from Crestron, and obviously continue to do the things that we do well, which with our partners and our integrators is support them in telling that story as well. We both have an opportunity to kind of align around what our customers, what our true end user customers are really buying, and that's the work we're going to be doing, and it's a joint effort.
Well, one of the things that I obviously want to point out, this is the Sapphire Marketing Holiday Party. It's held at a Crestron event. Sapphire and Crestron have a very tight-knit relationship, but one of the things that maybe our end users don't understand very well is how the rep market works. So from somebody who uses Sapphire, I can say that if I cannot get a hold of somebody at Crestron, I have a backup in Sapphire and so on and so forth. I actually may start with Sapphire to ask a question, and Sapphire will dig through whatever I need and then come up with the answer if it meant getting a hold of Crestron. So the rep model works great for you guys because you got, I wouldn't say it's layers, but you give options by doing that to the consultants, the integrators, the ed tech guys. I mean, you definitely give me options.
Good.
Okay, and I appreciate that. From a consultant perspective, having these physical sites, the experience centers, the design centers means a lot because, like you said, it's hard to explain our geeky products to people that don't get it.
Right.
You know, and unfortunately, I'm challenged with that all the time. With what is it that you do, Chris?
Yeah.
And I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah.
But if I was to bring somebody here and say, see, I do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, or when we go to, you know, we go with my family and we go to see a show, like, see that thing that's projecting up there? Yeah,
Yeah.
I could probably do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's something I do. This makes it tangible, makes it
It
real.
does. Yeah.
And it definitely adds a level of comfort to a person who's about to invest money into an ecosystem, because it's not just a product anymore.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think what you're talking, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say, just piggybacking off what Chris said, me as an end user from an education institution, and actually my rep here is already Laney. It's nice having that rep in which we will say, have a new teaching method,
Sure.
and some of the instructors want to do something different, and I won't lie, faculty are kind of a little hesitant. You can tell them, and they go, that's great, I teach theory all day.
Yeah.
You know, it's good to have a place like an experience center in which you can look and say, this is how it all integrates together. Or, you know what, here's some equipment, we'll give you a loaner, play around with it. It doesn't hurt the fact that on campus I have a built-in programmer, but that's besides the point.
Look at you.
But you know, that's
Luxury.
Yeah, you know, I'm thankful for Damon every day. But it's nice having a rep who just simply says, "Oh, you want to try this out? Okay, here. You know what? Here it is. Go kick the tires. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
If there's any kind of improvements, just let us know." And it's nice to have that kind of.
I think, you know, and you talk about, you know, making the complex simple, which I think is sort of both our missions, and yet sometimes it isn't simple, it's complex, and you know, you have to be able to unpack that when appropriate, and that's both of our jobs. But at the end of the day, you know, this company was built on relationships and people's relationships, and I don't think we've wandered too far away from that mission. And with all of the technology, all the connections that we make, it very much is the ability for you to call up somebody and say, I need to see something, I need to do something, and that's you know, a very you know, human part of what Crestron is, and it's part of the company, part of the brand, and we want to talk about that as well too.
One of the guests that we saw on the schedule that's going to be coming on is Michael Goldman, and I can't wait to bring him in because I love to go at it with him when it comes to the IoT part of it and how that works into both the residential and into the commercial world. That to me is on the horizon. Not on the horizon. That is already up.
Yeah.
And people are taking note of it. You guys as a company have obviously recognized it a couple years ago, and you're heading full steam into you know, how are we going to interact? And for a touch panel company to recognize that the less touches are better, is sort of ironic, but it works so well.
Yes.
You know, you want the touch panel there for the reassurance, but if you're doing one or two button presses, you're perfectly okay with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's been something that we've been floating around, probably more on the residential side of who we are, and it's almost like beautifully invisible. And you know, somebody mentioned it to me, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of like what, you know, you want to be, and yet you still have to have those notions of how do I access it and where is it, where does it live? But we do our job really, really well when we're not as visible. We're kind of seamless, but purring away in the background, doing really, really cool things. So it's all
beautifully invisible, where 10 years ago it was beautifully complicated.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
It's definitely grown.
We sort of recycle these things.
Absolutely.
Well, I think it's a valid point that you made about how less is more. We talked about aesthetically with the sort of panels that blend into the background, the slimmer stuff. We did talk earlier about how this is behind glass for a showroom, but in a home nowadays, or even in corporations, that sort of gear fetish is not there anymore. They're not showing off what they're doing. They just want it to do it.
Yeah.
And I like that you pointed that out, that it's the less impressive.
Yes.
Which really relies more on the backbone in the background, so that it knows intuitively when I'm in this room and I hit this button, it means to do this.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing.
It's very interesting because, I do enjoy looking at the rack, if you will. There's something about it too. And when I was first here in the showroom, and I said to Brian, I said, sometimes it reminds me of, I don't own a Ferrari, I probably never will, but on some of the Ferraris, you have to have a little window over the top of this beautiful V12 engine, which is spackled red, and there's something very visceral to know that you have this incredible storied power plant there. So I do like the idea that, somewhere on that tour, somebody will go and say, and by the way, have a look at this stuff. And so there's something there. I don't quite, know what it is. I hope that they come back to it a little bit, So,
That's where interior designers come in and say, you may want to see that, but there is typically somebody else in the house that
doesn't want to see it.
who may have
Wow.
that trump,
Yeah.
that trump card that says,
Yep.
yeah, you're not getting that rack exposed.
You're way
We
deep
want
in
it.
marriage counsel territory at that point, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that might happen in your basement sort of man cave, although I hate that
Yeah.
word.
to,
But
to,
Yeah,
to
me
that
too.
to
Yeah.
that point of the aesthetic, your equipment, whether it's your equipment or any manufacturer's equipment, if they are not doing, or if any manufacturer is not taking, paying attention to the equipment and how it looks, they're doing a disservice. In the commercial world,
Yes.
open space, you're left with a big challenge of where to hide it. And if it has to be out there, it better not be just a big black box.
Yeah.
right.
I
Oh yeah.
will say this is one of those things that is actually nice about some of the GM series, being that some of the transmitter boxes have been nice in which you can actually mount them underneath the table. That's, as I say, and that's one of those things that I wish more manufacturers do that. Just go, oh no, here you can mount it on the rack. And it's like you can't put the rack in the table.
Yeah.
If it's going in plain sight, there's got to be an aesthetic element to it that goes beyond just a square box anymore. And we don't have the luxury where I work. I don't have the luxury to have an equipment rack in every room a lot of times because they've removed the credenza.
They want to have an open field.
So it's bare.
Yeah, and where am I gonna place this? All in one units that are small and compact, things that I can stash away into in-wall boxes, things up into the ceiling. I mean,
Things in which you can actually squirrel into, say, the table box.
or into a table leg if they allow me to have a drum on a base of a table in a commercial world. If we have that,
Queen Anne.
To the same end, you talked about singles about looking nice, but I mean, part of we also talked about how we want the client to be comfortable with it. It's not as imposing as it may look, at least on the outside.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is you say you want to see it, you'd love to see a little bit more of the sort of gear pleasure being exhibited. But by the same account, the wiring of those racks is really important. And not just from, we want to do it right.
Yeah.
Yes, we cross power and audio, there's problems. But when a client also sees your rack installed properly and beautifully, there's a confidence that they can go touch it and they can do something.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
they're not going to have problems because it's done right from back end to front.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a hard lesson to learn, is that we all want to be neat. We all get pressured to do the job now, and there's multiple jobs to finish, and the schedules go over. And but doing that is really important.
Yeah,
It's one of the things we have to remember.
Right.
thank you, Nick.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on the
Appreciate
show. Good luck, and we'll talk
Yes.
very soon. Thanks.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
seeing you
Good
again.
seeing you.
All right.
Excellent. I'm glad Nick stopped in. Fairly new to the company. He's got some great ideas. I got to sit with him and speak to him, and it's for a marketing person. He's got a big responsibility.
Yeah.
But part of what he was saying is ingrained, into the culture of the company, which is you gotta be accessible. This stuff is important to people. They're investing in. When you're buying this stuff, you're investing into an ecosystem. There's no better way to put it. And I hate saying that because it seems such a term that everyone wants to use, but it's not just.
Well, we've
a
also
box
used it
anymore.
in a way of almost being disdainful sometimes, because the ecosystems are coming to get us, the sort of off the shelf stuff. But there is something to that. The ecosystem is the culture. The ecosystem is what's behind everything, and that sort of brings forward. I like that idea that everyone in Crestron and I think this stands for other companies as well, but especially in this one,
I
I
will-
will speak personally to it from years past that they really do invest in that idea.
And I would just forewarn you,
Speaking of forewarning,
Do you
ladies
ha-
in the house.
Do you have the beeper on?
Yeah, we-
The
we
5
have a
second delay?
You know, I did discover that Google Hangouts does have a delay process that I can use.
We should really try and
I
test
should
it
try
out.
and use it. No, I didn't want to do
Yes.
that here though. I gotta make money. DraftKings and I over under. You know.
You know,
The Laney factor goes out of control.
I want to see who wins this. Wow, he's actually timing how I'm.
Yeah, but now you're giving it away.
No.
She's gonna either not do it or she's gonna do it immediately. Get it out of the
no,
way.
it's fine. It's covered up. She
You know,
doesn't
my
how long
swearing
it's going.
comes naturally.
Well,
It does.
it's you're a
And
product
it's-
of your environment.
I
it
am.
is
I'm
New
not
York City.
stressed out yet. I'm not
No,
stressed out.
not
yet.
But yeah, yeah.
It's nice. The weather's nice. You had a great year. 2015.
Had a great year.
With
Yeah.
the company, everything is going-
good. Yeah. It's working for Sapphire and working for Crestron's been fantastic. It's 24 years. It's been 10 years, 24 years total with Crestron, and in 10 years this past October with Sapphire. And that means I started at like 9, illegal slave labor by Crestron, but regardless
Which
of
were wise
was-
beyond
she
your
was-
years.
She was folding
She
boxes.
skipped grades and all that. Yeah.
my resume was in crayons. But Randy still liked me. I don't know why,
That's
but
awesome.
Better late than never.
Absolutely.
and there's
Hello.
Marla.
You're well
And then
indeed.
she hires me 10 years later. I'm still working for Marla because she's my mentor and I'm stalking her.
That's
And
awesome.
and
So
to
you're
leave,
soaking in the knowledge.
yeah.
Every time we come here, every year, Marla wins a new award. Now she's like,
I got one of those old people awards.
oh no, you
No.
didn't. That wasn't it. Come
No.
People awards.
40 under 40, and I got a 50.
on. Oh no, no. The hardware
They have a 50 over
on the
50.
shelf. Every year, new award.
Well, if you're gonna
That's
come on
awesome.
in, come on in.
Come on in.
You're gonna be in. We're gonna do it.
Hi, honey.
There you go.
Oh, I
Miss
really
Marla
don't want to
Sutler
take.
from Sapphire. How are you?
Hi, sweetie pie. I'm good.
Doing good. Doing
We
good.
have to do the kisses.
Air kiss.
She kisses, I swear.
That's awesome. You guys work in a great team
Now
now.
there's the dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. We're
I'll fill in the
So-
decisions.
How was 2015 for Sapphire?
2015 was pretty
Yeah, it was
awesome.
pretty good.
Yeah, we really, Crestron was kicking butt as always. Digital media is stronger than ever. Ping really gained acceptance. Shades, lighting, the new pinpoint stuff. So that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
We have,
super interesting
what's
stuff.
even more exciting, we have new blood at Crestron. I think
Yeah.
that's, Nick, you just interviewed
Yes.
Nick Harris. He's
On
he's
the
like
team.
a breath of fresh air, and I
He
think that's going
brings-
to be great.
And I was telling George, he brings a different perspective. I got to sit with Nick a few
Right.
weeks ago and speak to him. A different perspective because he's coming from a different industry, but he gets
Right.
what we're doing because it was
Right.
super specialized in the stuff that he did. It was super customized.
Right.
In a lot of the stuff that we're doing today is heading down, not the customized, but the personalized. You're going to buy something because you have an attraction to it. You
Exactly.
want that as part of your home or part
Right.
of your system. And where he came from was that way. You fell for that color or
Right.
that sort of
Right, it
stuff.
was an emotional purchase.
It was
Right.
definitely was emotional, and but obviously some of these stuff, the people that buy this are certainly not just doing it for emotion. But
Sales with Crestron always become emotional, by the way, with me. It has to be a
Especially at
complete
the end
Crestron
of the real
solution.
end of the year, which is June 30th. That's Crestron's
see,
fiscal
that's why
year.
you guys are so
We get
calm.
to celebrate two
That
New
explains it.
Years.
While we're in a panic because it's end of the year and it's
We
time
don't
to
really
get
give
all-
a darn.
No,
you
no,
guys
no.
still have
That's
6 months to go.
Yeah.
That's
We're cruising.
that's the second glass of wine, Chris.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm sorry, but
Learn people, switch your end of year to June.
yeah.
Then, but see, that's why I can be a little bit more calmer than
At
you
Infocom.
at Infocom.
Right. Yeah.
You
not
look
a good
great,
time.
Chris, by
Yeah,
the
you
way.
look
I got not to say that you
fantastic.
don't
Both
look
you guys
great,
look
Tucker,
very
because you always
handsome.
look great. But
No,
Chris,
no.
you are sporting that.
He's dashing.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not.
got.
I'm not dashing. No.
You are dashing, dude, with the glasses and the hair. Everybody, if this was on,
He's got a new
No,
headshot,
no,
too. He's
no,
very
no.
proud of.
I'm very proud. I finally got a new headshot.
I love it.
because I got made
love
fun of
it.
for the other one because I look
It's
like
so
a,
millennial.
I'm so not a
Oh,
millennial.
man, there we go.
You know, you had to kick me where it hurts.
I'll
was the
drink to
over-under on
that.
that?
It's a transitional millennial.
Cheers.
That's it.
Cheers.
To former millennials.
And
You're a
then
millennial
quickly, and I'll
before
let you
school.
go with your next speakers, but also for Sapphire, we picked up a lot of new lines on the
Yes.
residential side. We really concentrated on the luxury entertainment aspect of things. So Prima Cinema, the system that allows you to get a movie the day of its release, Autonomic and Kaleidoscape in
That's-
different territories, not in,
Yeah.
caveat or asterisk.
Yeah.
And on the commercial side, Add a Long Way, which fits in with the digital
Huge.
projection and the Stewart film screen.
Yeah.
And so,
Silicon
you know,
Core.
we and Silicon Core.
You've quickly put together a lineup of one-stop shop, but
Thank you. We all try really hard at
your one-stop
that.
shop is not necessarily, hey, it's XYZ products from here.
Right.
You actually put some thought into an acceptance of, you
Right.
know what, we're going to bring this company in because their product is quality.
Fits. Right,
For the
it
most
fits.
part, you're not bringing in, you know, a product that is untested. You know, you're bringing in somebody who has built a reputation in the industry.
Right.
And whether it's at CEDIA or Infocom, it's good to see.
Yeah.
Because there, I hate to say it, but there are people out there that just pick up every line.
Right,
And
line
line
collectors, we call them.
See
that's
page
awesome.
2.
There you go.
There's no
That's like the
value
Facebook
to
friend people. You know,
us.
you collect friends. How many do they really talk to? You know.
I mean, our
But-
value is helping our dealers with solutions, and so we have to be able to go in and talk about the whole room.
Yeah, I talked about that with Nick, is that you provide a layer of support for me, for Bill in the tech world, you know, in the ed tech world. You know, you
Right.
provide that level of support. I don't necessarily have to go through the Crestron channels. I can pretty much just have a simple question asked,
Right.
pick up the phone and go, hey, lady, what do I get here?
Right.
What is the part that I need to match up with this to make this work? And for the most part, if Lainey doesn't have the answer, she gives me right to the person I need.
Yep.
And that is, and in today's
Wait,
world,
I have to get the $20 bill
got to get
out.
the
Hold
20
on.
bit, the 20. The
Do you take
20.
credit cards?
No,
I mean, I think this is going to be an
I
expensive
I
night.
forgot my little square.
I have a
thing.
Gap card. Do you take Gap?
we had a tip jar.
There was something to that point, though. The knowledge level of the reps under your tutelage know what they're talking about. And I've been
It's
in the
important.
inside, and I know how
It's
stressful it
important.
is to have to catch up. But do you find that level of education or that need to learn is as steep as it was, say, 4 or 5 years ago when we were really, or maybe even 6 years ago, where suddenly Ethernet and Wi-Fi was coming on, and suddenly HD was coming on? And that was a really stressful period of time where everybody had to ramp up. Are we still in that phase of having to ramp up as a rep and really, really learn new technology, or is it just additive at this point?
I mean, everything is the Internet of Things. I mean, there's just new uses for the Internet. There's streaming applications. I don't know if there's any actual learning curve on any kind of new technology.
Personally, for me, I feel like I'm reading so much more about what's going on in the industry as in general, and then outside our industry, because I feel like a lot of things are being driven, you know, in the education world. Bill just walked away, of course. When I look at him, it's an empty space. But thanks, Bill.
Yeah, thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Just when
He's
you
always
think.
supposed to be
You know?
there, and he's not there.
Now we
That's
know
Bill
he does not
O'Donnell.
have your back.
He's
Yeah.
looking for what's that thing? Pony? My Pony?
My Little Pony.
He's
Oh,
looking
that's
for a My
bad.
Little Pony right now.
On that
let's not even
note-
go there.
I will. Okay, so you guys know what's going on in the industry. You seem to have your finger on the pulse. We're gonna do a quick game. I'm gonna say a term, and you tell me if it's
Can I
today.
swear?
You can today, tomorrow, or it was
Or
yesterday.
yesterday.
Okay. Oh,
In your
shit.
opinion, 4K
Today and tomorrow.
Yesterday.
yesterday. Interesting. What about IP convergence? Today, tomorrow, or yesterday?
Yesterday and today.
Ditto.
Ditto.
Whatever she said.
Whatever she said.
That's awesome. Pinpoint. Where do you see it? Today, tomorrow,
Today and tomorrow.
or it's something that, if I was to say yesterday, would be in reference to something that we should have already been on, and
Right. We've been working on, I'm in the engineering department.
it,
We as in the entire engineering.
Did you not know?
I'll edit that out.
You did
I
not know?
invented
Nobody
the
heard
slide, clicker, the W4.
Awesome.
You remember that?
Marla made the clapper. If everybody wants to know, Marla is the creator of the clapper.
There it is.
and
And there's
many other fine
And
products.
Ping
and there's-
is sprung.
And with the
Ping is
clapper, you got that
sprung
right
from
there.
clapper.
does it have a clapper interface yet?
It does. It
That's
does.
awesome.
It's
That's-
in
It
beta.
costs $4,000.
Now there's a purchase you should make.
$4,000.
It's
Not
not in
part
Home
of the
Depot
Crestron
though. You cannot buy it from Home Depot.
And the reason why I brought those terms up is those are buzzwords that we see every day.
Right.
And 4K again, it's a technology that I think has been here, and nobody's really given
Yeah.
its due. I think I'm done with it personally.
I said yesterday, dude.
Yeah, I'm done
I,
with it.
look at this. I
I'm
looked
not
into
the
your
authority on
eyes.
4K, but I'm sort of done with it.
It's 8K, baby.
It's
8K,
it's
baby.
here, and 8K's on the horizon.
Yeah.
And there's so many other stuff. George, agree, disagree?
Yeah.
But the
4K is
interesting
sort of
about
in
the
place,
interesting
though.
about Crestron has always been that they're very, very forward thinking.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll take it back all the way back to the days of when I worked for Crestron and Feldstein came out with the first video touch panel, and he comes running out with this beautiful touch panel. Definitely a prototype, but it was beautiful nonetheless. And there was no one in the room, and there was just me, and he's showing me this beautiful video touch panel. And that's how it's always been at Crestron. It's always been very forward thinking. Where is the industry going? What are other industries doing? They're not waiting for somebody to guide them. They're kind of guiding everyone else. And, sometimes it's hard to guide people, and sometimes people come along, and sometimes people don't. So I think it's going to be very interesting.
I was going to say, speaking of Feldstein, that we've been a month over a full year without him physically in our space, but spiritually, emotionally, he's still there. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone,
The legacy lives on.
everyone at Crestron carries the same enthusiasm and spirit, and I mean, you just feel them.
Yeah, he's
So
Willy
that's
Wonka.
it.
that
Yeah.
building.
He's Willy Wonka.
Lainey, your specialty or your focus is education.
Yep.
Universities, a larger scale. You spoke about 8K being it, but are the universities actually there at 4K? Is there still room for everybody to
No.
expand into 4K, right? That's still a growing market in the
I think-
installation world.
I think universities are, they have budgets they have to meet, and they have classrooms, and they have refresh programs. I think specialty schools, medical schools,
There you go. Yes.
art schools where they have to have a 4K resolution. I think that's where you're going to see it. But I think right now universities are just trying to refresh their analog technology. I think that the analog to digital convergence may have just be going on for some universities, and so
Well, I did an install about 4 or 5 years ago in an institution that was a very high-end place, and we're still fighting with the staff about VHS. They were still buying DVD / VHS players.
The world
and
VCR.
trying to convert them.
Wow.
I mean, are we seeing an opportunity to move into the cloud for that kind of stuff? There is a natural progression in which this gear and the 4K can move them forward into that as well.
right. So
Devices still have SVHS.
There we go.
there you go. So
Really?
I actually had a,
Spoken from a real world dealer.
I actually had a conversation with a school about this, and I said to him, your technology it's great now that you're refreshing one of your 300 rooms, but what's the delay? Like, what's the cause of delay? And he said, Lainey, my faculty members are just aging out of the system.
Yeah.
Wow.
So think about it. You have a university that has young professors that have are starting now to get to their senior retirement age, and they have started with chalkboard, no technology.
Right.
So if they're continually teaching in that classroom, the last thing they want to do is
There's gonna
learn a
be
new
a-
technology.
yeah, there's
So
gonna
It's changed.
I think
pushback.
once the aging out of the faculty members, and Bill, you probably could talk about it firsthand, and you probably don't want to,
No, I can happily wax on, but there's only so
but
much time.
is there any validity in that fact that your faculty kind of dictates what goes into the classroom?
They are. In our case, we ended up having our math faculty refuse to move on to whiteboards, but in the rest of the campus, we're actually putting in glassboards, and those 9 rooms, I believe, are still chalkboards, and for the most part, we're essentially embarrassing them into upgrades.
Right.
But it's been nice. It's been.
I could definitely see that being an issue.
Well, I have a question because Nick brought it up, and Brian brought it up, and we talked about the one-touch capability,
Right.
where not showing the gear and all this other stuff was about making them comfortable with if I do 1 or 2 buttons,
Right.
and there's no drilling down. So it's part of the onus on us as both manufacturers
Absolutely.
and integrators and designers to make that more intuitive. Maybe that's
Absolutely.
using the beacons. I know that there's some beacons installed
Right.
here, those little USB outlet pluggy things that you're in the room, your smart device comes up with the controls you want for it.
Right.
So if I'm an art professor, a different thing comes up if I'm a philosophy professor or a technology professor. Is that part of the onus is on us?
Yeah,
to get
I-
those things out there.
I definitely think so. I think we have great consultants, we have great dealers, and we have great end users that are educated. And I think that we need to figure out, what are you doing in that room? Before you actually say, I need this, I need that, I need this, I think you really have to look at, I'm really only doing this in the room. And how complicated does that room have to be? Why overcomplicate something and over technology it when you have multiple users coming in of all different sizes and capabilities? So yeah,
And
the
everyone
onus is on
lives
us.
on this. I mean, this has to be the heart.
Marla
of
is holding up
every
a personal
system.
device right now.
I'm stealing Chris's phone.
Well, first of all, you're
Chris
killing
was
me 'cause
texting someone.
I was just. How am I going to get my notifications?
Chris was trying to update his account.
I was trying to tweet and I couldn't.
Is there somebody I need to get for you guys, or are we
Shots.
No, we'll get the bartender later.
That was not my contact.
But
Yeah,
we're
this
trying
is
to
already out for
prop
shots.
up, and we're actually okay that you haven't dropped any.
So there's
we don't
a-
have- we
No
have-
expletives were uttered in this.
The edit-
We can save that
Almost.
for later.
It's an after 5 thing, I
You in
think.
15 minutes. That's awesome. I'm proud of you.
Wow, thank you, Bill.
Put a hand over your mouth.
Congratulations.
It's been awesome talking to you. I'm sure I'll
I see
interrupt
an
the
auction
shots
in-
later.
I
Got-
see an auction.
gotta come back
opportunity.
later.
We want to do something for charity. How much money to hear a curse?
Okay.
How
There
much
you go.
money did?
See, I like this idea a lot.
I curse well,
It's gonna
though.
be one of those like finally by the time we get enough money, it's gonna be like the aristocrat.
This isn't getting too creepy. I'm going to walk away. It's getting a little too creepy.
Thank you again, ladies, for
Thank
for
you,
coming on.
gentlemen, and I have to say it's an honor to have you guys
thank
once
you.
again. And you guys give validity to our party by being here, so thank you.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Pleasure. Doesn't that scare you?
Yeah, that's kind of scary. So,
gonna go-
so we're gonna bring on some more people,
Okay,
and
cool.
we'll have Lady on later to toast off the
The end of show.
the end
Okay,
of show.
Great,
Yes.
good,
But,
perfect.
Thank you again for
Oh,
sparing some
thank
time
you.
to come
Oh
on
my
with
gosh,
us.
thank you again for being here. It means a lot to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank
That
you.
was
Can I-
Lainey and Marla
my
from
wife. So there
from
we go.
Sapphire.
So just for a record, that was 16 minutes of
That's
no.
awesome.
60 minutes of no expletives.
She,
I like it.
it's she only had a second glass of wine. It's early.
You know what?
It's
This
early.
party is actually, you know what? They started earlier. I think it's less stressful. So you got to do like. So this was good with that.
Which is
It's
great.
a far more
So
mellow
here's a
feel
question
to
I
it.
want to ask you two though.
Sure.
We talked about that with Lainey and with you, Bill, about how the professors are resistant. Some of the older acting out. Even some of the newer ones don't want to deal with it. So we talked about that it has to be the 1 or 2 button touch operation. Again, the beacons bring up my screen. But do we think that the integrators or the in-house programmers need specialized training in order to actually accomplish that? And I asked that with this proviso. 7, 8 years ago, we had to bring people in to learn Ethernet. They all thought they knew it, but to do it right, they had to be brought in.
So this is actually something that has been happening on campus for us. We're actually developing and putting in something that's new on campuses that are called active learning classrooms.
Okay.
And so the idea is that there's really no front to the room. Everyone can have their own little huddle space and everything else. And from a programming perspective, we had to kind of look at this and go and say, well, here's the thing. What's the function of the room and what is the instructor supposed to do? And so we'll base it off of that. And so we actually started having sessions, talking with other schools as to how they went and built a room, and more to the point, how is it the touch panel is used? And a lot of times it was, well, I want it to be breakout sessions, or I want to show everything. And it's not, it's one of those things where it's good to have a matrix switcher for that. But it was really one of those things where we started having little training sessions of the instructors with the programmer. That way it's, okay, you wanted to do this and this and this, and it was less headaches and less frustrations with the program. So that's where, as I say, that's what we've been doing is we've actually been having, I'm not going to say meet and greets, but certainly orientation and little boot camps with the faculty. So it's here's what this room is supposed to do. because these are scheduled classrooms, and we don't want our faculty to suddenly get thrown in and they look and they go, well, I don't know how this room works. I hate this room. Why'd you ever put this into?
You know, it's very funny because I think I showed you a number of years ago, the or George Washington University did a series of comic skits with the two IT guys showing how the things work. From what I understand on YouTube, they were never ever published to the faculty. But it was one of those desperate moments of, how do we get you to understand how to do this?
Were they rapping?
No, this was not rapping. This was sort of like Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin kind of thing. It was actually very funny. They were really good at it. But it was one of those situations where they had to say, well, you're afraid of it. We're going to make it comedic so that you get comfortable. And you know, these guys are sitting in the hall every day and they have to fix your stuff all the time. They're being funny.
Yeah.
But I think really we are getting to that point, and I can't wait to talk to Mr. Singer about, you know, that progression, where that is coming from, and how we're advancing that.
How do you make them more feel relaxed? And well, this is how it all works together. This is how you get from point A to point B with this stuff.
And taking it one touch. Yeah. You know, again, I love that beacon thing. I mean, Brian showed it to me when we first came in. Walked into the room and it brought up the page for that room and on his smartphone. I was like, oh my god.
Now that is
and
nice.
You customize it.
See, because if we go back about 4 or 5 years or so, there were some other manufacturers that used like RFID cards, except that they were really the RFID chip was just holding a preset. And it was just once you walked into the room, the whole system turned on. When you left the room, too, the whole system was shut down. And some folks are going, well, wait a minute, so I have to keep this on my person at all times, and the moment I leave the room, I'm now tethered to the room. But it sounds like the beacon is a lot more intuitive.
And it keeps it state, and it's a way of saying you don't have to be afraid. We train you on your interface, your specifics. And then, you know, like I said, like Lady said, an art historian teacher is different from an English major teacher. They're going to use the technology differently.
Now, the other thing too that Laney had also mentioned, or actually I think Brian had actually said this, was whether you're digital natives or digital immigrants. And I've noticed that the folks who usually are growing up in technology, which in this case is a lot of students, very rarely have we ever had a problem where the students are going, oh, the classroom, there's something's not right with the classroom. It's the faculty, because they haven't grown up with it. They simply were going, all right, well, this is how you use it. This is
well, the students expect it, and the faculty don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Well, it is. It's
well, again, but how do you solve it? Right? So how do you solve it?
Well, in our case, a lot of times we will actually go and have training sessions. Yes. We'll actually have training sessions at the beginning of the semester and at the end of the semester. And the reason being, there are some folks who I was an adjunct, I was teaching online for quite some time. Now I'm going to teach my first physical class. What should I be aware of? And we have at least standardized our classrooms, so there's one single touch panel layout for the whole place, and we go through the stuff. And folks can ask as many questions as they like, because really, at the end of the day, they're the ones who are in the room, not us. We're the ones that say, well, we come in and say, well, if the room's on fire, all right, let's see what's going on.
Well, now, you said you had a programmer on staff.
Yes.
How much pressure is there on that programmer for the interface? Now, is the programmer the same person who makes the interfaces?
Yes.
And how do you go through that design process of approving an interface?
So we actually went through, and we went through a number of iterations.
Yeah.
And initially we just said, all right, you know what? We will just copy what the physical touch button layouts were, and we'll make that the touch panel. Which sounds, your basic, well, just copying A to B. Yeah, but after a while, it started turning into, well, really, what is the feedback? What is the, how do you know what the status of the room is? And so what our programmer actually did, Damon, he's insanely smart about these things. He actually built it off of feedback off of the projector, which is, there's a lot going on and there's a lot of communication. However, if, say, the projector isn't receiving the signal, it'll actually pop up in the touch panel saying, I am not receiving any signal. If you have an issue, please contact this number.
Right.
And so we try to make it to where if the faculty have an issue, they really do have to look down just at the touch panel. And in most cases, the touch panel actually says what the issue is. Now, as far as the layout is concerned, we've tried to keep it as simple as possible. You select your sources, We actually do use the physical hard buttons along the sides, and so I know in a lot of cases folks are going, "Oh, we'll just have everything as soft buttons." Well, our faculty still like hard buttons. We still have in the rooms. There's the projector screen. There's still a projector screen wall plate.
Yeah.
Because you know what? While all this technology is very nice and wonderful, you still need to have stability and reliability. And here we go. We're playing the seating rodeo.
Go say hi.
Hi.
Come on, you were networking. We know it.
Come on.
What? Oh, now he's on.
How's it going, guys?
We found him. He was in the toddler section of Crestron.
No,
in the back
children's
over there.
place. The
He was in
children's place.
children's place trying to find a
For
shirt.
new T-shirt.
Oh, nice.
The infant section was out, so I had to go with something a little baggier, guys.
Well, I know. Let's introduce you. This is Todd Anthony Puma. He's president of the Source Home Theater and Installation Design Company. Somebody who's very big with Crestron and been around with us for a number of years.
Yep.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not his
Good to see
first
you,
go
sir.
around here, man.
This isn't his first rodeo. No,
No,
it is
It's
not.
my second or third rodeo this time around.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm thankful to be here, guys, and as always,
Okay.
He's learning to have a saddle this time. I mean, on the horse.
He's
Bareback doesn't
now,
really do anything.
He's one of the guys that uses this place.
Yes.
We've had
absolutely.
people that have said this place is great. We've had people that have worked for the company that said it is what it is. It does what it does. I got all right photo op.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All
Look
right.
natural.
All right.
natural. The observation of being observed has
So-
changed.
Todd, I mean,
You may have a brother.
I hate talking to you on air because I know it doesn't feel right. Typically, we have
Oh,
these
my.
conversations regardless of a microphone or not. Why do you use this center?
this is the center that gets my jobs closed.
And dude, don't bullshit me. Give me straight up. Why do
Oh,
you
wait,
bring?
what if the over-under on you cursing?
Well, I had no
All right.
over under. I want to know.
All right, so
What value does this bring?
30 seconds. It was 30
You got 30
seconds.
seconds.
Oh, man.
Go ahead. Tell me
Here's
what
the
does this
value.
bring?
right, I don't have a showroom. I'm a custom
You're
installer.
virtual. You're
I'm
a
virtual.
virtual.
I'm all social media, just like Chris Neto. You don't see me anywhere else but on social media.
You exist on a different plane.
So by existing
Stepping
on the
George with the existential virtual
you
plane.
only see me here and in comic book stores, maybe. So. But this is the place, right? When you
Go
come
ahead.
in here, right? This is an experience center. It gives the customer the experience. It shows them a little bit, gives them a taste of what they're going to be getting, and I have an opportunity of talking about what I'm going to offer them. This is the place that sells it for you. This is the place that gets the people excited. This is their toy room. All right, we don't have Toys R Us anymore. Well, I have Toys R Us. Bill has Toys R Us, but he likes the My Little Pony section.
It doesn't make you a bad person. Ooh, I will have this.
Brony thing going on here. I don't even
It
know
just
anymore.
has to be said.
Don't.
It has to be said.
It's a long story, George.
It's one of the perks of being on in-house. We can actually eat this time. Go ahead.
No, that, yes.
So,
Oh, look
The other
at
parts of
that.
being at
See?
the experience
now
center.
I'm blushing on
Random
air.
kisses,
That's how it always is.
food. We're being treated.
So
What did we do right this
I
time?
don't know, but
we must have had something right.
I was obligated to buy a certain amount of gear though from her. I think
There
that's
you
what that
go.
was.
Go ahead.
When you need to show your customer something,
Yeah.
you bring them here. When you want to show them what you can program, you bring them to my house. That's,
Okay,
how I use that place, you know?
okay. So you
Let's talk about that.
use your place to show off your product that you have as far as your style of programming.
Correct.
Do you feel that an experience center, for example, does a good example of that? Now the program, we like the little designs that they did here. We find that very interesting how it's blending into the wall. Does that apply? Is that a real world application? Are people coming to that? And you could say yes or no.
No.
All right.
Because what happens is it's actually a challenge for what I'm doing in programming style. Based on the way we program, it's a lot different than the way the showroom is built and set up. I believe now with Home Elements coming out, they're going to utilize that. They're going to change around the space. They're going to have the same program that's going to be in my house and your home in this experience center here, New Jersey, no matter where it may be,
Yeah.
and to give the customer a better idea of what they'll be getting in their house. As of right now, we repeat ourselves. Our program's going to look a little different, or the Source's program's going to look a little different than what we have here, but we're able to build it based on what you were looking for. Crestron has endless possibilities. That is a challenge. But once that's passed, and you got past that little curve, and you talked about it, then you just go through the products, what they're going to be looking for, what they want in their home. Talk about the keypads built into the wall.
Yeah.
All customers want that.
My question to you, since you focus more on you work in both the residential and the commercial side, but you're heavily on the residential side.
That's correct.
Is it fair to say that a bulk of your work now has become the whole house integration as opposed to just the home theater room? Perception of residential has always been these guys are home theater specialists. It's not.
Yeah.
No,
You're not a specialist in the home theater anymore.
no, we're a specialist everywhere in your home.
Right.
It's more about shading. It's about lighting. It's about the integration products now. HVAC. I think Nest has did a good job on giving us awareness. Sonos and other companies that are out there.
They serve a purpose.
They do serve a purpose to make us sell higher end systems. It gives them. It's the beginning. It's their boom boxes. It's what we all start off with. But when they want it all done through one integration, one app, one setup, one overall ecosystem, they come to Crestron, and we're the guys who do it right.
So my question then to you, as somebody who is in this business all the time and dealing with the customers on a home side, how would you rank these 5 technologies in a scale 1 to 5? Where does it fall in order of importance? Whole house audio. Is that something you guys see a lot? What I'm basically going at is the trends.
Whole house audio is becoming less of a demand.
Really?
Less of a demand, less of a request.
That's interesting because I always saw that whole house audio would have been something that.
Well, it used to be our first entry, right?
Right,
It was,
yeah.
it was
It
the
was how
husband
we
who
got-
wanted to have his music everywhere,
Right.
or he wanted a little bit of surround with the game with his big screen TV. But now, what is it? You're saying it's not whole house? Is it more
what's the
environmental?
big thing that you
It's
get?
more environmental. They're
Right.
looking for shading and lighting first. That's what we're getting in the doors with. Most of our projects are because of shading and lighting.
Now, shading and lighting because of what? Because of the economics of it, or because they want the aesthetics, or is it both?
It's just cool. It's just cool. That's what it comes down to. It's impressive.
There's no better way to
You know
put
what
it.
happens? Audio. It's been done before. Everyone has it in their homes, but not everybody has shading and lighting done in their homes. They're looking for the next thing to impress their friends with. Also to keep your wife happy. That's another thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the people are
There we
trying
go
to get
again.
their wives happy.
We're going back to this thing where you will get overruled on your whole house audio because somebody else in the house wants nice shades
Well, but you also have options.
and nice lighting.
Because you can do whole house audio from a number of other things, and maybe you want it tied in, maybe you don't, but your environment you want coordinated,
Correct.
right? I mean, you want when it's hot out, the shades come down.
Correct.
You want when you're coming home the heat to go up or you not to go down. I mean, these are things that I know you're huge on ping, and you've done a lot of ping work that video shows. It's all about that very simple comfort level of it works, I know what I want, and I'm done. And then maybe you add on the other stuff, right?
It's a set and forget. That's what it's all about. The customer doesn't want to work anymore.
Whoa!
That's what I'm talking about.
That's
Incoming.
Every time I
Hey,
say
it's
ting,
gotta work on your aim.
I thought I got shot.
I know. Like one of it live on screen. It'd be a first. So, I mean, in that, you're seeing a different approach from the clientele, right? You're not having to sell, like you said, the audio. You're selling the environment and the coordination. You're selling the ease of use. And we were talking about this earlier with the educators. Are you finding that really what they want is the one-button push?
Yes. They don't want any button pushes,
Right.
actually. They want to make it where they get home at a certain time of day. If it's 6 o'clock right now, the sun goes down. They want the shades to start closing. They want
Right.
time and date scenes.
Well, it's not just experiential, it's predictive.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you know what? It does take a little time. I always tell the customers at this point, it takes 1 year to set and forget because you have to learn the time of days, learn where the sun is setting, learn
And your
based on
preferences
heat.
to that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. That's
you
why.
Maybe someone who paints in the painting room,
Right.
they should be up a little bit more because you want that natural light.
Well, that's actually a request we just had. Is a couple of customers had very expensive paintings, and they were asking a couple of questions about the shades. If the shades go down, will it actually protect the paintings from losing quality or getting sun damage? There's a lot of different things that we're doing, and we're starting to experience more than we ever have experienced before with a knowledge base. Everybody seems a little bit more knowledgeable than they were last year. Customers are a little more experienced with home audio, lighting, shading, thermostats. They have more friends that are their advisors.
Yeah.
With that comes, we need to be sharper. There has to be more, we have to be a lot more educated than we were the year before. And I believe in trainings. I believe in going out there and get your certifications. You know, shading certification is very important. If you're selling shading, you need to know more about shading. If you're selling lighting, you need to know more about lighting.
Well, I mean, let's explore that for a second, because shading is one of those new things that, you know, a standard old school AV guy wouldn't have known. One, what you training? You know, from an old school guy, you'd be like, training, shade. It goes up, it goes down. What, you know, what are we talking about here? Really, what does that entail? It's more about what? The motors and about the times and about the savings in energy, right?
Right. Well, there's a
Whether
lot
we
of
got,
different.
whether we got blackout or say solar shades.
Well,
Have you been doing that more or not?
yes, all blackout shades for the master bedrooms. You have to be more educated in fabrics. You have to be more educated in aesthetics. You can't just throw up something and just expect it to look good. You can't take measurements and you just expect the measurements to be correct based on what you think you know.
Yeah.
You have to know it. You have to build every customer's house like it was being put into your own home. And if you don't respect your home, don't follow what I just said. But the customers want more, and if you're going to give them more, you have to be educated in what you're doing. And if you're not, hire a professional who knows what they're doing. Partner with a professional who knows what they're doing.
Right.
You know, shading guys, I have a shading guy. I hired somebody who does it for us, not because we're overwhelmed with shading work.
There's a body of knowledge that comes with that.
Right. Years of experience this gentleman has. He gets in there, he takes the measurements. I'm confident the job's going to be done right when it's done. Same thing with lighting professionals, right? Electricians, there's reasons why they have so many certifications, and they go through years and years and years of trial.
And talk to me about the lighting thing. So lighting's another one.
Right.
It's not just illumination to get yourself from point A to point B. It's a whole atmosphere, especially in the higher end homes. There's a whole emotional connection that brings. So you said you hire a lighting designer, or is it lighting?
We do both,
Okay.
electricians and lighting designers. So we partnered with a few lighting designers in New York City because the customers will ask us. I think we've become more of a trusted advisor. As Rich Ragosa would always say, we're their personal concierge. We're always going
It's
there.
the value add.
It is.
You know, once you build that relationship to a trusted source, you become the trusted source.
Right.
Part of the value. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's associative.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
But you want to have somebody you can trust. And I think that since our job is so personal, is we're constantly getting to know the customer on their personal end. We're asking questions that no other contractor would ask before. Hey, when you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing you do? When you get in from work at night, what is the first thing you go towards? How are your kids? What are your kids doing on a daily basis?
Right.
What is your wife's favorite hobby? That personalization is coming off. Thank you. That building what we are with our customers and the questions that we're asking to our customers has built us. And sorry, I just lost train of thought. I got a hot dog
It
in my
happens,
face.
man. It
So
happens.
what it comes down to is customers do trust us,
I apologize
and
for
by
that.
that trust is they're asking us for referrals.
And I have another question. It's somewhat related. All of that is aesthetics. All that is sort of a very experiential. In the past, we used to go, like you said, by the audio, and they wanted to show that gear. Are you finding that they're now wanting to sort of hide that gear, make it seamless? Or do you think they still want to show that sort of gear?
Like floor
obsession?
standing bookshelves.
Or even the gear, like they used
Oh,
to
the
be, for
racks.
many years, remember, it was the smoked
Yeah.
glass showing the rack.
Right.
But that's really not prevalent anymore, is it?
No, they want to show it.
They do.
Yeah,
Okay,
customers
now
are
this is
looking to
different
show
from what
it.
I've heard.
Yeah,
but
we are putting
But if
LED lights
if
in there
you've
now.
ever seen his racks, he lights them up.
All right.
It's a little different.
So, but it's more experiential. It's
Yeah.
not just the rack. Okay. But I mean, I've seen the trend though of people saying they want it to be seamless, like these panels over here that sort of try to fade into the background by matching the background.
Right.
But you're still seeing people saying they want to show it off in certain situations or in all situations.
There's some equipment that's just as pretty. Certain equipment like Macintosh, right? They have beautiful receivers. There's other companies that are out there.
For years, a product like Macintosh has been on a shelf, on
Oh,
a
yeah.
credenza,
Yeah.
and you walked in and you knew that greenish light
Or the bluish.
or the bluish green light that you walk in and go, I know what that is.
Right.
Well, for the audiophile, they knew what that was.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is definitely it's part of their trademark is that glow, that.
But I mean, look at the Pro Size. It's made to be looked at.
Right, it is. But it isn't something you want on top of your cabinet. You know?
Exactly my point. Like you never know quite. You know, you've seen the rooms where they don't want the bumps on the walls and the things showing,
Right.
but they want their usefulness.
And you know what's funny? You can't predict or can't tell what kind of customer is going to want what anymore. Because there's certain clients I look in the house and everything's so clean and seamless. And they'll turn to us and say, hey, listen, I want to have a turntable on top of this table. Okay, let's do it. Or I want bookshelf speakers.
SL 1200s.
Well, whatever, Chris, that you want to do. You know?
Turntables and a microphone. Where it's at.
What I'm basically trying to say is we can't assume anymore. We shouldn't just make assumptions. You know, we shouldn't judge people based on the cover. You know, we have to be able to go into a customer's home now and have an open mind. Just listen to what they want and then advise them based on that.
And I got one last question.
Sure.
I'm sorry. Now I was thinking and I lost the train of thought. Sorry, guys.
Did you have a hot dog in front of you?
It was the
Oh, whatever.
That's the odor.
It was the cocktail wiener. That the cocktail wiener guy.
Oh, whatever.
Wait, why are you pointing to him when you said cocktail wiener?
Because he grabbed the cocktail wiener.
Oh my God, what are you doing?
Doesn't make you a bad person.
I thought that's not the right place to grab the cocktail wiener.
That's awesome.
Don't
We're not
judge.
judging.
Don't judge.
Well, I've lost the train of thought completely, so we'll move on from it.
So my question is going to be to you, what about 2016? What do you think is, from a technology perspective, is it, do you feel that 2016 is going to be a breakthrough for wearables or for like the pinpoint in the house? Is that what's going to happen? Or are we still a year or two out of that?
See, the pinpoint has actually been a product that hasn't been talked about enough. It's something that needs to be talked about more, and it's something that needs to be on more projects. I don't know how to program it yet, so. But I'm waiting for it to get down to Crestron Ping's level.
Admittance is the first step.
Listen, I'm trying to.
Hey,
I'm trying to
wait a
admit
minute.
it on my
For
phone.
those who are watching who don't know what we're talking about, can you explain what it is?
Pinpoint is a proximity detector.
Yeah.
So if you have a phone or any communication device, it's near field communication basically. You get into a room, family room, and it will detect you based on your phone, and you'll be able to turn on lights, unlock a door, maybe possibly turn on the TV, or do whatever your mind puts itself to basically doing in the system. Pinpoint is something or a product that everyone should have. I would love to walk into my home and walk into room by room and each the light turn on in the house. While I walk out of the room, it turns off, or the audio would turn on, or whatever maybe my heart desires to be happening at that moment or that time.
It adds to the touchless.
Listen, it adds to coolness. It's just cool,
Well,
right?
it's a one touch or no touch.
Yeah, don't
Right.
Who cares
Right.
what's useful?
Like
It's
we talked
cool.
about.
I wanted to do X.
Right.
I mean, that's useful in the commercial world as well, where, you know, we used to talk about the RFID badges, where if I'm walking from one part of the facility to the next, I don't want to turn all the lights on. I just want running lights.
Right.
Something that can tell me how fast I'm going, and the direction knows that I'm not going to stop there or there or there, but maybe up there. We'll just dim the lights like come on. Saves energy, saves time, and knows what I want.
But that's what everybody wants, right? All guys want that. Minority Report. The movies that we have grown up to watch, like Star Trek. Imagine going through a door and then turning up and opening. These are the possibilities that Crestron could do. What? I want a door open. Can I have a door that's open when I get past it?
You want that at home. You don't want that just at Macy's.
No, I want it everywhere.
You want it anywhere.
I want it everywhere.
Listen, I want a teleporter
home,
too.
I want it at my mother-in-law's house. I want it at the door right over there. I want Mark to turn into that. I don't care. If people just move out of your way.
Come to your aid.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, that is something we want. But do you think it really is wearables? And I made an argument in the last couple of weeks that wearables are only a transition.
It's a trend. It's
But where do you think it's going next? Because I have an answer. Where do you think it's going
Careful
beyond?
where you go with that.
Let's give me the answer. I'm actually trying to figure it out. I got this iWatch, and you know what it does? Nothing. It doesn't even turn on. I just wear it because it's an iWatch.
I have a fossil
That's
watch
it.
like that. It looks really nice.
It doesn't tick, nothing.
Yeah.
But
It's
it
not
doesn't work.
enough. George, yours just winds up.
I do have
It's not the iWatch, it's the Y
This
watch.
thing doesn't
dude.
work. I was all excited about it. I've got a Crestron app on my arm. I thought I was going to be so cool. I thought I was going to phase out.
Oh,
I
he
didn't
thought
know
he was
what
going to go
gonna
Dick
happen.
Tracy mode, like click, 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 click.
There's not enough battery to
Dude,
keep
I
it on
can't even send the
15
text
minutes.
message on this thing.
The blank is on the run. The blank is on the run. Well, no, but I've made the argument that really the future in the next 5 to 10 years is embeddables.
What was that?
Embeddables.
Embeddables? Okay, let's
He
go.
wants it in your
Oh,
skin.
no, man. I can't do that. I
Yeah,
can't
but
do that.
maybe.
What? I'm ready
You
for
have ink?
Cyborg.
What's that?
You have ink.
I have ink, yeah, but that's
Well,
cool,
you get a
man.
barcode.
No, anything inside of me is it's against my
Wait, no, but there is a
religion,
company
man.
that actually makes ink that's magnetic, and they can arrange the polarity of the magnetism that's in the design, and that would actually be almost the same as an NFC.
Okay, well, okay.
How you like that?
Listen,
There's a company in Sweden.
I just
that allows
installed it, dude.
people-
Listen, I think it'd be
Install
cool,
TV.
but I'm kind of afraid, man. I
Well,
just
but
thought,
well, see, this is where the body modification guys come in. The people who did, like the piercings within the bumps in the head.
right.
They're actually hiring these people to surgically insert. And in Sweden, there's a building, a tech building, in which they put it right here. And that means they can open doors, operate the coffee machine, the copier.
Sooner
Well,
or later, they're
here-
eventually going to get the spot where it has the repulsor ray
But
too.
can I just talk about biblical here? Isn't that like kind of the mark of the beast we're talking about at that point?
It is what you make it. I mean, but no, seriously, it is what you make it. But
I
so,
agree.
I mean, from a point of view you're looking at, you don't see that as a future you would engage in. But we also thought that we would not be as open as we are about everything we do.
Right, but look
20
how.
years ago, we would have never told people that things you do every day.
Or what you
Oh,
eat
right,
every
they're
day.
like, what are you, crazy? Witchcraft.
And eat and sleep.
Yeah.
I mean,
People still want to burn me because they
do you-
think I'm a
do
witch.
you-
You know?
You've seen my pages.
there are people on Facebook that are sharing way too much information. That's a conversation for a whole nother.
Are you talking about what? Facebook?
Yeah, you're not into that.
No, I don't know what that
That's
is.
awesome.
I deleted that.
You'll be
Well,
back.
I will be back.
You
I am
will.
back.
All
Get back
right,
2 weeks
so-
ago.
All right, I've seen the posts. I was somewhat involved in a show with you a couple weeks ago. What can you tell us about what's going on with a certain comic book store?
Comic book store. Is that Bill's topic?
Yeah,
This usually
we
is,
have Bill
but,
here.
you
So
know.
what are you doing there, dude?
I'm reading a lot of comic books. I've been trying to figure out if where I'm going to go in life.
Oh,
I'm
my God.
confused.
All
There's
right,
been a lot
so-
of things. Oh, what were we talking about again?
That is
you're
the
funny.
biggest Heisman I've
You-
ever seen.
Well, all I can say right now is that Crestron came in and they did a case study about it. There was a lot of great characters in there, which we can't release at this point. But just say it's a show from AMC called Comic Book Men, and there is 5 people on that show, and 4 of the 5 people are there for the case study.
Yep.
We made a comic book store into a Crestron experience that everything in the store, if you ever been to Jay and Silent Bob's in Red Bank, New Jersey, on 25 Broad Street, courtesy, please bring up Todd Puma from Source.
What? That's it. That's it. There's the commercial.
Yeah.
That's what we're
But-
waiting for.
Okay, all kidding aside, what we have done there and how we have got in to do that job, if you understand how these people are, they were stuck in the 20th or 19th century, we should say. They didn't want change. They're a comic book store. They believe in reading books, changing the page, turning it. They didn't believe in iPads or digital, right? So bringing them to the digital era, how is that possible? How can you make that into a thought or a reality?
Right.
We have done that. We gave them a whole system. When they walk in, clerks welcome. The lights turn on. The lightsabers go ching, ching, ching. They got LED light strips all over the place. They got cases that have all their product and memorabilia from movies like Clerks and Mallrats, and the list goes on and on. That light up, lock, temperature goes to a certain level.
So
That's
if
awesome.
I understand this correctly, there's going to be some documentation of this, and there might be some more.
There might be some more
There's
news.
gonna be-
That's what I'm getting from this conversation.
Yeah.
This is not a hot dog in my face.
Ah,
No hot dogs in any faces, dude.
There is going to be some more talks about this, and paperwork will be there, and as well as a live case study, and possibly, just possibly, keep on looking at Comic Book Men TV show on AMC, and we're hoping possibly from the next season to see some of our work and some people that you know in the AV industry.
There we go.
Well, look, we've taken enough of your time. We love having you on.
Thank
Your
you.
lovely wife is here, and there's people to hobnob with. So
Thank
very
you so
much.
Awesome how
guys.
we've made you
Todd,
like
five,
Anthony,
guys.
Puma.
High
Thank you
fives.
very much.
High fives. Get the hot dog out of my face.
ah,
no hot dogs.
No wieners.
oh,
No,
jeez.
that's it.
I am never gonna.
We got a selfie.
That's what
We got a
happens-
picture
and
going
we-
on.
That's
Also,
a
I
look
got
of panic on
Just to
that.
remind everybody who's watching, we are live from the Crestron Design Showroom.
Note to self: don't ever reach for appetizers in front of Todd.
Yeah,
There
right.
you go.
We have to come up next year. This is our planning for next year. We come up with a way that they secretly can give them to ridiculous.
I propose
Aside.
conveyor
Sort of like
belt.
the liquor. They just
Oh, yeah.
serendipitous. I can't say that word.
Surreptitiously.
Very well.
I think that's
Discreetly?
Thank you.
it's very tough.
How are you going for the freaking common word? Come on,
That's
expand your palate.
You know what? He brought an interesting perspective because of his roots in the resi side,
Right.
and it shows how we, on the commercial side, don't understand their business. They're definitely they have more experience on the aesthetics of things than we do. Only recently does the commercial side start bringing that, because typically for the commercial side, the aesthetics part has to be handed to us from an interior decorator or an architect.
Here's the spaces you can go. Here's the spaces you cannot. I don't want anything on my table.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Well, do you think that's partly because of the huddle rooms and the mixed-use space? It has to be efficient, and that then dictates an aesthetic, or is it something else?
I think that space in general is dictating that it becomes smaller, more aesthetic, because you don't have big tables.
And you can't be cluttered. Yeah.
Yeah, it can't be cluttered.
Yeah.
There are huddle rooms. This is a bar. You know, you're looking at a bar table here.
Yeah.
Drop this down to coffee table height. That is considered huddle spaces in some areas with soft seating. How do we address that? That is so against the grain of that's not working. That's not a workable table in the AV world.
Well, let me ask a question because I'm going to ask this off the cuff.
But who has been dealing with those coffee tables for years?
Well, see, now that's where you end up having to deal with where you don't have the space to do it. You have to rely on wireless collaboration devices, and every manufacturer, Crestron included, has you pick your flavor, style, and everything. And I think that's where the push is. It's also in the we're going with a very BYOD. There seems to be a very big BYOD, especially in your workplace, Chris. It's very laptop heavy, if I remember correctly.
The tables aren't big enough.
Yeah.
The ironic part about this, George, is that in many spaces, you'll get a renovation in a conference room.
Yeah.
The table that was brought in originally was intended for a notepad and paper on each side, and the user sitting on each side with a notepad and paper.
Okay.
They didn't take into account the notepad and paper, the tablet, the phone. There's never enough power outlets. It's not wide enough, the tables, because they were tables that were designed for something else. So now, again, going back to what happened 5 years ago and why now, even the furniture has now dictated and changed, because huddle spaces aren't showing the grand conference room table. Those may still be in the boardroom, but even I'm seeing different changes in the boardroom.
Let me ask this question, because I know that some of the hotels have started to get rid of desks in hotel rooms because they presume from consultants that the millennials don't want it. They want to slouch on the couch and do their smart device, which I find is not indicative to a business person. No. Is this the same thing sort of in the schools?
I will. All right. Now, that one I will admit to you is very true, because in some of my travels here and there have been more connections built into the sides of the beds. So your USB charging ports, your regular AC outlets, things like that. That's all built in because, at least from my generation's perspective, things are more mobile based as opposed to your traditional laptops and things like that. It's more of just bringing on your own devices. Now, on campus, we are embracing the more mobile device, more millennial approach to everything. So it's not so much, here's a built-in PC for the room. It's, here's some laptop connections, or here's the wireless collaboration unit. Do what you need to do, and we have a display set up, and there you go. It's very much just, you already have more tech than we do. We're just going to allow you to do your collaboration or do your studying, and there you have it.
Interesting, yeah. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk with some people. There he is. There's Jeff Singer. Because what you're talking about, though, is aesthetics forced by need, which is probably a force for good, even though we don't think it is.
Yes.
But
I get them. Black frame?
More and more of this. Having discussions. Hold on.
Sorry.
That's all right. I have Premiere. I can edit it.
Go ahead, George. I'm sorry.
Well, no, but I mean, in that realm, I want to hopefully we'll get Mr. Singer here because there's a lot of things I want to talk about how the gear is being designed and what it's being designed for. And that is my impression. And that's the serious thing that one thing is we've talked about a number of other things, but that is something that I want to see about this case. Mr. Singer, how are you?
How are you?
How are you, sir? How are you?
Good to see you. So,
Well, this is
are we on? Or
this is of course Jeff Singer.
Okay.
He is the director of marketing communications.
I know Linda
for
mentioned
Crestron.
something to me about what we were going to talk about.
You got a speech?
Can I just prepare? I was prepared to speak. Do I put this away and we just talk?
Yeah, that's all we do.
Okay, great. I thought so. I was like,
What do you know about 4K?
how much time do you have?
That's it. We want to talk about something new like 4K. It's very hot, very trendy. We were actually making fun of that with.
I've never heard of it. It's like 8K, only half.
Exactly.
Or 1080p, but double.
Actually, 4 times. Actually, 4 times.
Wait a minute. If I carry the 2, divide by 3, module the remainder. Yeah. Okay.
Man, you're making me do math.
It's the
Don't
new
make me
math.
do
It's the lattice method. You wouldn't
Divide by
understand.
pi.
Yeah.
Definitely do that.
What kind of pie? Now you're talking.
Pie. Apple pie. Pumpkin pie.
That's nice. Something seasonal.
The guys back then, I didn't care. All fruits. All fruits.
All fruits.
So, my list here says that I'm supposed to talk to you about what was in 2015 and what's trending for the year.
Right. That's why I had to go back and look. I was like,
Do you want to go
I
back?
have my
no,
points.
no, not really. But you know how it is. It's like we release a new product like every day, and it's like, okay, that's like 300. I got to go back and figure out what did we release last year. Holy cow!
Well, let me
So,
generalize. the
so anyway,
question.
but I kind of
Because
did that. Yeah.
over the last 2 years,
Yeah.
and I think looking into the next 2 years, the focus on who we're selling the gear to is slightly altered. Is it not?
There's a shift. Yeah, I think there's a shift.
Right? It's a necessary shift.
Yeah.
It's not a shift
Yeah.
of choice. It's a necessary shift of devices are being
Technologies, economies, marketplaces
Right.
evolve. They always have. They always will.
So, I mean, when we're looking at sort
Change or
of
die.
education and
Yes.
commercial or corporate,
Yeah.
it really is the IT guys that are starting to really take the reins. And and maybe it's my impression only, is it that they're starting to drive some of the feature sets and implementation of this gear, and how we design the gear and how it's implemented?
Yeah, 100%. They're driving IT or the enterprise, if you will,
Yeah.
which is a little bit broader scope than IT, which maybe we'll get into, maybe not. But the enterprise, that's really driving product development. It's driving how we go to market. It's driving how we communicate the value of what we do, our value proposition. Their care-abouts, what their pain points, the challenges that they're trying to solve are different. Their concerns, their touch are different. And so, yeah, it's driving all of that. Yeah. I think it's the idea, the issue, the question about the AVIT convergence. Right. The only people that still refer to that are AV guys. As far as IT is concerned, is that's already happened already. That's done. Yeah. The IT managers, directors, CIOs, CTOs, AV already reports up to them. It's already happened.
Right. So, I mean, is there a compromise there, or is it? There's both. I guess there's a compromise and there's benefits. I remember back in the day when we were doing support, you would have the IT guy saying, "That's not going on my network."
I'm sorry, that's not going
on my network.
Right.
What is what? No.
Yeah.
What has changed in, say, the last 5 years that the IT guys now are comfortable? Is it just ubiquity, or are there some things that the industry itself and Crestron has done to say, we've heard your concerns, here's what we've given you to make sure that you understand?
I think there are a couple of things that are at play. First of all, going back to what I said before, is they've sort of absorbed AV.
Yeah.
So organizationally, structurally, you look at the org chart, right? They have responsibility for AV now. So it's sort of like it or not, you got it. So it's not a question of us versus them. It's mine now. So they've got to make it work. I still think that, I don't know that they have fully embraced it. I think now, because they are forced to deal with it and they must find a solution, they're actively looking, they're actively engaged, they're actively asking the questions and involved, rather than just pushing away and saying, forget it, I don't even want to know about it. They have to. I think what is unique about Crestron, and there are a few others, maybe one in particular that is just starting to reframe or rethink their approach. But what we've done, you look at the 3 Series control systems,
Right.
They're not designed as an AV control system. I said first and foremost, they're looking, and you brought it up, security.
Right.
That's a deal breaker. It's a yes/no question. You either get it or you don't. And if you don't, we move on and we look somewhere else. And if you do, then we can continue the conversation. And it's a host of different levels of security. It's the physical security, it's the hardware security, it's the software security, it's the authentication security. There are many, many different levels. So it's your SSL and TLS and 802.1x, and it's Active Directory, and when you and really what's driving a lot of that, it's not necessarily a user IT versus AV and all that stuff. It's scalability, right? When in the AV land, in our world, it used to be scaling meant to dozens of rooms. You had dozens of rooms. That was a pretty good size system, right? In the IT world, or in an enterprise world, and I use enterprise because it's not just IT, it's real estate. Most people think of it in terms of facilities. Facilities kind of rolls up into real estate. Real estate's kind of a broader grouping.
Office planning.
Right, exactly. And they all have a say in this too, by the way. But so enterprise, they're talking hundreds and really thousands of rooms.
Right.
When you start to scale that big, it opens up a whole range, a whole host of manageability, implementation, deployment, support, security issues that when you're dealing with 4, 14, 40 rooms, you don't have to deal with them. When you're dealing with 400, 4,000 rooms,
Across a network.
and you're exactly across a building, a campus, the world. Now everything changes. So you take something really, really simple, as a for example, right? Wireless, BYOD, wireless. Okay, how do you implement that? Everybody wants it. Everybody expects it. IT wants to say not on my network, but they can't really say that because it's here. Everybody expects it. They've got to figure it. You got to figure it out, right? Okay, if I'm a small company, let's take something really small, a doctor's office. I've got 4, 14 employees, 20 employees, whatever it is, right? And you want, for whatever reason, to have wireless capability. I can physically put that app on your iPad and call it a day. I can have username and password, and that can work okay.
Yeah.
And if somebody leaves or something, I can change the password. Now, I'm a global company. I don't know, let's just take Microsoft, right? And now I've got thousands of employees all over the world. I can't physically put that app manually on each individual device. Security cannot be a username and password because every single day, people are coming into or leaving the company.
Yep.
So I can't change the password every day.
Basis,
They're vendors and clients. Right, exactly. Clients, temporary employees, right? All independent contractors,
right.
Freelancers. I'd be changing the password every single day. That is unmanageable. When there's an update, I can't ask everybody to hand in their iPad so I can do the update, right? So now, again, when you're talking about on the scale of an enterprise, it's a game changer. And the IT world, the IT manager, they need a solution to do that. So when they come to us and they say, well, all right, what's the big deal? Why can't I just use my Apple TV? Because in an enterprise scenario, you can't. Because you can't do any of those things I just described. Right? It's not secure. It's all Wi-Fi. Right? You can't deploy it silently over your network. You can't push updates over your network. You can't define access rights over the network. And there's a whole host of other things that you can't do.
At least not very easily, yeah.
Right. It's not a tenable situation. It really isn't. So, I mean, listen, the whole landscape has changed for lots of different reasons. And those are the kinds of things that, we think about and we on a daily basis. It's what drives our product development. And like I said, our marketing and everything else.
So that I want to ask, what do you see in 2016 that's exciting to you personally, or to maybe Crestron?
Maybe Crestron. No.
No, what is the technology that's driving, we all know that your Crestron is heading in 2016. They're going to continue developing the products that you spoke about. But what is out there that really, that gets your attention, that is coming down the line? Is it an interest in IoT? Is it the interest in where BYOD is going? Is it wearable? Is it pinpoint? Is it what excites you going into 2016?
I think there's a little bit of all of that, but I think the one thing you touched on, and there's a lot of buzzwords out there like wearable and BYOD and all this stuff. I think what's really exciting is, how can we be sort of, for lack of a better term, the operating system of your life, where we can, from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, through your home, the classroom, the office, where we are using technology to make your life easier, make your life better. Focusing on commercial for a moment, it's empowering the knowledge worker so that we can follow them through their day and make them more efficient, make them more productive. We can sort of clear their path, remove the obstacles of the hurdles, so that Crestron is really kind of blending in and enabling their normal workflows and routines. There are all kinds of little things, and maybe it's not sexy, but when you think about it, when you can walk into a room, and that room, by virtue of you being there, it knows who you are, what you're there to do, and then everything just works the way that you want it to work, is really exciting. So right now, today, you walk into a room and maybe you want to present from your tablet, but there are no wireless capabilities in that room. Or you walk into a room to give a presentation and you fumble around for 10 minutes trying to figure out how to connect and how to get your presentation up on the display. And, these are frustrations, they're annoying, even embarrassing. But more than that, we're doing some research and figuring out that it's not just frustrating. It actually impedes workflow to the extent that it can cost organizations, depending on the size of the organization, millions of dollars every year.
Yeah.
And, looking for a place to meet. More and more there are these huddle spaces and huddle rooms that, guess what? When you want to find a place, those huddle spaces don't show up in Outlook or Google Calendar. So people walk around looking for a place to meet. This is not.
It's unproductive.
It's unproductive. And again, you talk about it on an enterprise level. How many employees do you have? How many meetings do you have a year? How much time is spent? Add up all their salaries and how much time is spent wandering around just looking for a place to meet. Then when they get there, how much time is spent trying to figure out how to connect and present, and how spaces are being misused, underutilized. they go unused at all. So for example, you schedule a meeting and we all get this, it's the last minute, oh geez, something came up, I'm not gonna be able to make that meeting. Oh, no problem, we'll meet next week. But does anybody bother to go back into Outlook and cancel the meeting? No, you're just like, oh, we'll reschedule. So now that room is going unused. Again, if you think about how much, from going back to my comment about real estate, how much are you paying per square foot? And you're not using it. You got a video conferencing system in there that's going unused. How much, amortize that? So there are a lot of opportunities. This is what organizations care about. This is what they're looking for solutions. So we're kind of focused on how do we do that? It's enabling organizations to maximize their opportunities, to maximize efficiency and productivity, to lower operational costs. We're looking for ways to empower knowledge workers wherever they are. We're looking for ways to, and listen, the type of systems that we're talking about, these are pretty sophisticated systems. You all know to design and deploy, support, program these systems is not the easiest thing in the world, right? Traditionally. So we're looking at how do we empower or enable our installers, our dealer base, to be able to deliver these systems. This is what the client wants. They want that. How do we make it easier? How do we make it more realistic to actually deliver it? So again, things like AV framework. We've taken another pass and we're continuing to develop Crestron Studio. And things like that, so that it actually, we're trying to do some of the upfront work so that you can deploy these systems. You have these standardized systems that you can deploy. They're repeatable over and over and over and over and over again from one room to the next. It gives the client, right, a very simple, clean, consistent user experience. They are repeatable, so they're more easily supportable, right? Right now, every AV system is sort of a one-off, right? So whatever's, you might have, we talked about air media before, right? Okay, that might be input 1 in one room, and it might be input 2 in another room. When you go onto a touch screen one, it might be start meeting in one, and it might be join meeting in another. So there's really, those are very simple examples, but how do you troubleshoot and support a system when you have absolutely no idea from one room to the next what that system looks like? Again, in the IT world, they would never do that. Every single room is exactly the same. They have the documentation in front. They know how to support every room. In the AV world, we're not like that. Well, we've got to get more like the IT world because one, there are clients, and two, it's more supportable. It's just better, right? So these are the kinds of things that we're looking at, and of course, other little things that are not so sexy, like HTC 2.2 is coming down. So just the functional things, right?
I think it's sexy.
Maybe. So we've already introduced new hardware, because again, that's a hardware update. That's not firmware. It's not software. You need new hardware for that. So all your 4K systems that were installed yesterday and previous to that will not support HTC 2.2. It just won't. And so we need an upgrade path for that. So, we have that. So it's just continuing to do all the little things that are not so easy to do, but they're the things that are going to trip you up. And we're just going to continue to try to be ahead of the curve, anticipate those disruptors, because HTC 2.2 is a market disruptor. Things will stop working.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, we just got to stay ahead of those things, anticipate those things, and make sure that our dealers have the solutions that the clients need, so that they have happy clients and everybody looks good.
Awesome. Right. We're fast approaching our cutoff point here.
Oh, okay.
And Brian's pretty strict with us. So I want to thank you very much for
pleasure.
joining us and giving us some education on
Thanks,
that.
Jeff. Appreciate
Good
it.
to see you. See you at ISE, we hope.
Absolutely. I'll be there.
See you in February.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Go Hobnob. Thank you very much, Jeff. That was Jeff Singer. from Marketing and Crestron.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Man, this place is starting to
yeah, get very crowded.
a little hot, a little crowded.
I know, I've disrobed about 3 or 4 times.
We can still have a few. You know what? You want to get an integrator on here? Commercial integrator?
We can try. What do you have?
I have somebody here. Excuse me, sir. Sir, you, sir. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Come here. We're gonna bring on a guest. I hope we have enough camera space. Come on in. Camera space. We are broadcasting live. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sabino Petroselli. He is from Varex, and he's here with us unexpectedly on the podcast. How are you, man?
Wonderful.
Good. Get ready, because I'm about to hit you with some questions.
Oh boy.
So let's keep in mind some of the mics are not working well. So we're going to sit around here. We're going to huddle.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna huddle.
What's
We're the camera's up there. We're going live. You're on TV. As soon as that catches up, if we hit live, we will see that. Wow, you're definitely a newbie to this.
I am. All this technology is throwing me
Well,
off.
the reason why I brought you on, aside from
He's a vampire, we can't see him. What happened?
this is great. It's definitely you. It's chilly in here. I'm kidding. There's temperature control in here, man. Come on. It's Crestron.
Yeah, look, it's 82.
Sabino is with an integrator from New Jersey, from Varex. I've known Sabino for a long time. Bill knows Sabino very well.
Of course, me and Sabino have done many jobs.
So we have-
you just do just this one
Tons.
thing. Yeah, just this one.
Okay. So my question to you, Sabino, we had a residential installer here. How was 2015
Excellent.
for you guys?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great year. It's a great year. Busy, nonstop, but still busy.
Same traditional type projects, or are you starting to see something new, something interesting? Or is it what we discussed earlier in the show that this year business has exploded
Right.
because the companies that, and you're in the commercial world, let me explain that. Because you're in the commercial world, a lot of these companies may have hesitated a couple of years ago because of the recession. Those companies now, what we said earlier in the show is that they're back this year, and those hurdles that they had have now taken it, and they've said, you know what, it's time to invest. Whether it's changing out from projection to maybe display, what do you see?
I see definitely a lot more of mom and pop shops trying to jump into the show.
Nice.
And makes us, well, it comes down to the margins, pricing.
Yeah.
Makes it more aggressive. The margins aren't as profitable as they used to be.
What you guys may not know about Sabino spent a lot of time in the service side.
Right.
Are you still in that? No, you're not on the service end of this business side, but are services, from your expertise, is services something that you see a future for in 2016?
Absolutely. Everyone needs service. People that want to upgrade need service. So service is always needed.
Yeah.
Down to about the maintenance, break, fix. Going back to GMS, staffing,
Yeah, staffing.
managed services.
The expertise from an AV IT
He
perspective.
wasn't grabbing that.
He needed a napkin, not a drink, folks. I love when I put somebody
Well,
on
it's like
on the
camera lights now,
yeah. These lights, I've been
Stage
getting,
lights,
I've
holy
been
cow.
getting tan. My head is on fire, dude. It's the only
Oh
thing that's
my
hot.
God.
That 82 is because it's pointing at it.
It's 182.
Well, what you're saying is absolutely right. In the world that we live in now with AV and IT as one, IT takes over the responsibilities.
Right.
Staffing with knowledgeable people becomes super
Oh,
important.
that's the other thing. Finding the right people is a whole different ballgame.
Well, education in our industry is something that, it's a responsibility for the employer. It's a responsibility for Infocom to get the courses out there. Accessibility to the classes. When you started, how many years are you in this industry now?
20 plus.
No
Leave it at
way.
that.
You talking DJ days, man?
DJ Day. Scratching the record.
Scratching a record, the ones and twos.
Plus.
But education is
I want to
becoming,
age myself.
yeah, education has become an important thing.
Absolutely, it's required. Technology now, it's all IT, computer based. Before you used to have little Leatherman to fix
Yeah.
a job. Now you need a laptop to fix rooms.
Awesome. So from your perspective, this design center, maybe not so much, but you go over to Rockley.
Yeah.
And you bring your customers over there. Is it because they got the right toys? that maybe Verix doesn't have in the office to show. Because if you go to the Experience Center in New Jersey, in Rockledge, it's got every possible thing you can imagine.
Adult Toys R Us.
It's a Toys R Us. It's a Toys R Us for AV geeks. That's awesome.
Exactly. I love it.
That's
It
awesome.
wows the customer. It gives you the wow factor.
So from the man on the ground, feet on the street, 2016, continued.
Non-stop.
Continued.
Yeah. You keep on going.
And Sabino is one of the people that could probably vouch for this time of year. Is the crazy time of year for a lot of integrators.
It's always crazy for all of us.
And
We're all busy. God bless us all. We're all doing a really good job. And if you want to know more about Crestron, Verix.com.
Shameless plug. Sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Go
it.
take a shower now.
That's it.
Please stage lights.
All right. So part of this is that you guys watched all the way through. There's an audio problem.
Yeah.
I hear the microphones on Google, but I don't hear them on YouTube. This one
Weird.
right here. So regardless of that, we're probably going to wrap it up. It is 4:59. I want to thank you guys, Chris, Neto, Bill. Thank you so much for being here. I want to thank you for being with me at Middle Atlantic. We did a live remote where Bill was supposed to be there, said he couldn't make it, then he showed up, and it's always good to have someone
Never
to bounce
count
stuff
out
off.
Bill
It
O'Donnell.
is.
Never
Yeah,
count him out.
I will make things happen.
Lady!
Speaking of making things happen.
Did she know?
Live?
This
Yeah.
is live.
Is this fucking
Oh,
over? yet?
no, my God, there it is.
At the
That
1
was
minute mark.
on
Yeah, with the
stage.
bookies in Las Vegas, are all upset. She was well in on the deal.
We're about to close it out.
I heard.
I thought
That's
this would be
so-
like the Aristocrats, though. You would finally have to burst, and it would be this
Should
long
I
string.
dance? Should I dance and sing?
Oh dear.
This long string of expletives. You know.
You know
Well,
what? It's gone so smooth. It's been a great night.
it's kind of scary. The place is packed. We brought on Sabino Petroselli.
So first you want to cool everybody down.
Is
That's
he
it.
hot? He's hot.
He's hot and he's sweating.
Hot and sweating.
Hot and sweaty.
That's how I like it.
That's it.
Not sticky and sweet. No,
Please.
Nobody told me this was callbacks only.
No, that's it. Well, we're gonna.
I have Chris Neto at like speechless.
That's
Speechless.
That
He's a
doesn't
handsome
happen
devil,
off-
right?
That
He's
doesn't
a
happen
handsome
often.
devil.
you know what?
He's
I am
really
pale
looking good.
I'm pale in comparison to the dude with the pocket
I
watch.
like it.
I need
I
need a
it.
little bit of a snazzy
But
style.
Tucker
I'm just
always
weird.
styles.
That's
It's
all.
a-
I'm just weird.
he's a
My style is weird.
He's a classy, manly man.
Well, I can't
I need
imagine
a twirly
a
mustache.
Crestron
You haven't talked about this
Sapphire
yet, have
party without
There are comic books for that.
Let's do.
Shots!
Let's
Check
finish
it
it.
out.
Let's,
Otherwise, it's just shots.
Go get the
all right.
bottle.
Wait,
Go get
Okay.
the bottle.
don't
All right.
go off.
All right.
All right.
We cannot
So-
end the show without
so
ending with
funny
shots.
enough-
It's the traditional shots.
Funny enough,
And what are you bringing?
she's got. There's a bottle. It's uncracked.
Now,
it's-
what we didn't have this year was the signature drink.
We don't need a signature drink.
No,
She's
that's
bringing-
usually an
I
info
remember
song,
2 years
wasn't
in
it?
a row we had a signature drink.
Did we now?
Yes, we did. I don't think there's a signature drink, but if I know Lainey, it's
There's
coming
enough
out in a red gas can right now. She's shaking it up.
There's some guy named Jeff going, I broke it anyway.
Yeah, I brewed it this week. It's nice and ripe.
That's it.
Almost got caught twice by the feds, but we're here.
This is pretty potent stuff. I'm
My
pretty,
lightning.
yeah. What do you use this for? Degreasing engines?
You do for drinking. Kill some engines.
Kill some
It'll take
engines.
the paint off your house.
There we go.
Kill some brain cells?
And she shows up. Is it
Oh.
the same?
No.
Oh.
Show the camera, son.
Okay. This would be some. I don't want to mispronounce it, but the Crotalo.
Aren't you like that? Shouldn't you know how to say that?
Absolutely, but I got to play it off like I can't.
Yeah, you should, would, whatever.
I'm trying to pump it up. Portuguese, Spanish, a little bit of everything. You can,
There you go.
Wow, that
damn.
was professional.
that was somebody knows how to open up a
5
bottle.
minutes as a bartender. That's what that's
How long have
5
you been
minutes.
DJing?
Not long enough.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, that's not for me.
That is for you.
No, I count one count. One count.
Oh, boy.
That's it. That's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa, hey, no, don't spill.
Hey,
There's electronic gear around here, honey.
All right. We're getting it out. George, you get the big shot.
Yeah.
Wait, so who's gonna do the toast?
Not it.
It's
Not
your
it.
party.
I'll do it. Okay.
All right. Wait. If you're gonna do the toast, let's
Yeah,
switch
yeah.
spots
All right.
so we get this loud and clear because I'm sure this is gonna be interesting.
I gotta think. I gotta do this politically correct.
To
No.
Uh-oh.
oh, now my
We
It's
might have
gonna
a
go
fire hazard
fire.
situation here.
It went on the tablecloth. It's fine.
It's good.
yeah, it's good.
It's
It's
good.
it's a taste test.
Here, So
It's evaporating. very
Bill
quickly.
O'Donnell just poured a shot on a table
All over the microphones.
That was
No,
Woodbury's homie.
it was.
So I'm going to do
I
a
got to keep
toast,
it real.
a toast to friendship because these are very good friends of mine. So I'm going to toast to friendship. So cheers, cheers.
Cheers.
Chin,
Jing.
To
To
a fantastic 2016
Yes.
and
And
to
a good year in 2015.
an ending,
2015?
a great ending
Are we
to
going back in
2015.
time?
Yeah,
Are you Huey Lewis?
we're
Are you going back in time?
you know what? Screw that. Shots up.
And wait, and to AVNation being where they should be in 2016 at the top of
Absolutely.
the
We're
pile.
trying. We're trying.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Chin. Good Tim.
And Laney never fails with good tequila.
That is good tequila.
Good stuff.
Wow.
And I'm not a tequila fan, but that just went down in the
So
burn.
Chris just poured glasses all over the place. I
Yes.
just want to bring that out.
Don't let him match.
That's it.
He's already seeing paper trails.
That's it.
So I want to just, before you guys sign off, I just want to thank these guys because I can't have a holiday party without these two. And Bill as the Wrangler. Bill, his nickname is Wrangler, but
I'm the
I
professional
don't.
border
I
collie.
can't imagine
In
a
public and private.
Crestron Sapphire holiday party without George, Tucker, and Chris. And I think you guys complete us, and I appreciate your support.
I think there's an elf on a shelf kind of thing.
You
There's a there's a moment. You just had a geek moment. It's awesome, right on camera. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the 2015 Sapphire Christmas Party. Thank you, Laney. Thank you, Marla, and to the wonderful people here
Thank you, Bill.
from
Thank you,
Good tequila.
Crestron.
Thank you, Tequila.
Thank you, Tequila. It's been an honor.
I'm
It's been a
I'm
privilege.
gonna give the bartender some tequila now.
Now the bartender's going to do a shot. We can't get that on video.
That's not on camera. That's all.
And I have to do the official thing. No, not yet. Cover it over. There you go. All right, guys. So I have to do this really quick because we're going to be kicked out. This has been a production of AVNation. Although the audio probably was bad tonight, we apologize for that. These and other shows like this are produced by people in this industry. We are not media people. We are not reporters. We are you. Your support is very important to us, and our underwriters are very important to us. Go to the underwriter page. Please thank them for supporting us. Thank them for supporting what you want to hear about. This has been an introduction. Start that again. This has been a production of AVNation. Thank you much, and we'll talk to all of you very soon.